Welcome back to the Cobblemon World Cup for another round of quarterfinals action. We are going to be joined today with Tropimon and Planeta Cobblemon, who are here somewhere. I see Master Sans of Tropimon, Baloo of Planeta Cobblemon. These players are mixing it up. They have seen each other quite a bit throughout this tournament, and we will be seeing more of them today as they engage in a best-of-5 battle, their first and the first of the entire tournament. This battle has the opportunity to see 5 battlers from each side of the field come together and face off. There's R7G7, Poubelle de Fer. I'm not sure I'll nail all of those pronunciations, but Novoro, my typical co-host, I'm not sure if he's going to be available as much today, but I know the struggles of AC trouble during this summer, so we will be back to bringing this Cobblemon VGC and singles format action very shortly. Now, I'm going to quickly play you guys a trailer, and we will have the coin toss in 1 minute. All right. It looks like we are about ready to get underway here. All of the battlers are present and ready to go. We've got some tridents being held. We've got crowns already ensconced upon this head. And Goldango is ready for the coin flip to determine whether or not Tropimon and Planeta Cobblemon will be facing off in singles or doubles as Alam initiates the coin flip. Goldango is admiring the coin. He's wondering at it, and he brings up the tails icon. That will indicate VGC. It is double battles to start us off today. For those that are not properly initiated within this format so far, we will have some poke pastes ready for you all to see the teams that will be battling in this round, in this match between these two next battlers, and this will be a best of 3 to determine who gets the first match point in this showdown. Now, let's see. I haven't used the different resources too much during this time, but I want to take a look at the different rankings here, and what I'm seeing is Planeta Cobblemon is definitely the lower ranked team, while Tropimon one of the higher ranked teams. I'm not entirely certain exactly where they ranked, but we do see that Planeta Cobblemon is a bit of an underdog, and Tropimon has been one of the strongest teams in this entire tournament. And I'm seeing
definitely one of the...
Oh, Novo is here. Hello, Novo.
Hello. Definitely one of the tournament favorites. They've had a very, very strong run to the finals. I believe Planeta has also done well. I think they have only lost 1 match in the entirety of the World Cup so far. But now both teams are going to be facing off against each other. Looking just at the matchups that we have so far, I think Tropimon relishes the fact that game 1 is going to be doubles. In the entirety of the World Cup so far, or at least through the group stages, Planeta Cobblemon only really had to experience, it seems to be 1 doubles match.
Oh, wow.
I'm reading the previous, or 2 doubles matches in the previously throughout the tournament, while Tropimon has had doubles, I believe, every single round so far. So they do have a slight bit more experience. Planeta Cobblemon has Yeah, Planeta Cobblemon has been one of the teams that has done extremely well when it's come to singles. However, Tropimon, if I'm not mistaken, is still unbeaten when it comes to singles. So, if we see an encounter between two singles battlers, it's going to be, a tough fight all around because it just seems to be the main strength that both these teams possess right now.
Yeah, I've got the stats for singles pulled up right now, and we see right at the top, Master Sans is 3-0 in singles with 14 remaining Pokemon, which is over, that's an over average of what, 4, 5, almost 5 Pokemon left in their 6v6 singles. They have on average lost 1 Pokemon per battle while defeating 6 Pokemon. That is an incredible average, and it is by far the highest I'm seeing here. So Master Sans looking very scary.
We just received both team sheets. I will be sharing them in general and in the chat of the call. And then we can get the match on our way.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
All right. I will first initiate the battle before sending the team sheet, just to make sure.
And I will share these team sheets to the audience. We'll begin looking at this matchup that will decide the first game point here. But of course, because this is best of 5, somebody will have to get 3 points for the first time during this tournament.
Oh, you can go ahead and exchange the team sheets, Alam.
Yes, they are in general.
All right, first team sheet for Tropimon is here in chat now. And the first team sheet for Planeta Cobblemon coming now. I put the names in there. I've been doing this a bit too.
Yeah, I'm looking at Adelios' team, and it's a team that we've actually seen in the tournament prior. I recognize it just off of its legendary name alone, the Ballad of Matt and Micah.
We have seen that very recently. Now, during that battle, I'm trying to recall, that wasn't the Rain team battle, was it? No.
I want to say that it was a team that faced off against an opposing Mousehole, but I could be incorrect. It is very familiar, though.
Yes. And then opposing from Adelius's Prankster Whimsicott, Flame Body Volcarona, Intimidate Salamence, his Tinkaton with Own Tempo and a Focus Sash, a Hisuian Typhlosion rocking the Blaze ability, and a Choice Scarf, which is a terrifying Pokemon, and then also a Gastrodon, Storm Drain Gastrodon with a Citrus Berry. That is Adelius' team, but on the other side of the field, Planeta Cobblemon is rocking a Covert Cloak Talonflame with Gale Wings, a Dondozo with a Tatsugiri also assisting here. That is an unaware Dondozo. It's looking like it's not running Sleep Talk, which does usually indicate that it is more offensive, I would say. But we do have a Light Clay Alolan Ninetales providing with weather support and Aurora Veil. And then a Safety Goggles Armorogue, which we have seen once before. We saw a Flash Fire Armorogue that was doing a lot of trickery with Ally Switch and and more defensive set. This one is wearing Safety Goggles and has a much more offensive set. It does have Wide Guard, but it's rocking Armor Cannon, Psyshock, Expanding Force, and this team with Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Talonflame, Ninetales, Armorogue is capped off by Goldango with a Citrus Berry. It is also not running Recover or Nasty Plot, but running instead it's running Substitute as its only sort of assistant move, but Power Gem as a nice coverage move.
Yeah, we see a lot of Talonflames in Volcarona, so having Power Gem for that 4 times rock effectiveness is definitely going to come in handy, especially as you could potentially be facing down a Volcarona on the opposing side.
Indeed.
Oh, and the Salamence on the opposing side. That Power Gem might be doing some heavy damage throughout.
And we are
and the
underway.
match has begun.
There it is. as Tropimon leads with Whimsicott Salamence facing down Armorogue and Dondozo. Solo Dondozo on the other side of the field. Right off the bat, what do we expect to see here? This is a fairly offensive Armorogue with only the ability to assist with a wide guard. And so I don't see this wide guard Armorogue coming in handy necessarily on this setup at the moment. Whereas on the other side of the field, we see the Salamence threatening. It doesn't really have any setup moves, but it does have dual wing beat and crunch to start putting out damage. Whereas the Whimsicott Mat is certainly much more threatening with both Giga Drain, Tailwind, and Sunny Day. At this point, we may see Tatsugiri come out next to this Dondozo or some other pick to assist. I don't think staying in against this Whimsicott, if you're not going to be threatening something major here, is going to help unless you're going to try and set up that big Dondozo. We do see a swap.
You crunch into the Armorogue.
Well, that would have made sense. We see Gastrodon come onto the field predicting that the Dondozo will be getting its commander boost from the Tatsugiri, and that is what happens. The Omni boost comes out, and Gastrodon is now sitting in front of this Dondozo, who is importantly rocking Heavy Slam. It's able to go for something pretty solid, and it does go into the Whimsicott slot, but hitting into Gastrodon for only about 30% damage here to start. And dual wing beat did miss to Tatsugiri, just to say it.
Now, I wonder if you're Delias, maybe your move here is to just spam Muddy Waters with your Gastrodon to get that Dondozo's accuracy dropped all the way down. Because, you know, your Salamence on your side of the field isn't really going to be doing too much to threaten it. It doesn't want to take something like the Order Up. We see, ooh, good switch. Oh no, it still targets the Gastrodon. That does a lot of damage, bringing the Gastrodon down to 20%, activating Citrus Berry. We see Earth Power go into it. Whimsicott's going to be able to go for something like the Giga Drain into Dondozo.
Indeed. And this Dondozo is powering up attack with each order up. So this Focus Sash Whimsicott, of course, can go through at least one round taking a big Heavy Slam, as it does. It does survive to 20%, while Frico, the Gastrodon, recovers to 100%. Very important there.
Wow. Charm and then Charm in order to drop the Dondozo's attack is really cool by 2 stages.
So that is what is that, +1 or is that 0 Dondozo? I'm not actually sure how much it gets a boost from Tatsugiri initially.
It gets a +2 boost, but the Salamence intimidated it on turn 1. And the
0.
Yep.
And then -2 here as another charm does go out, and Whimsicott falls, only being able to weaken the attack of this Dondozo, which is a surprising thing. You see, Frico goes for an Ancient Power, does not get its own Omniboost, and another Salamence Intimidate comes out. This Dondozo is actually at -1, despite all of the opportunity for boosting it has had. A dual wing misses right now. Again. Negative. Oh, actually, it's more than that.
Charm drops.
Yeah.
Charm drops the attack by 2 stages.
Yeah, there you go. Earth Power does come out. This Dondozo is remaining healthy with its leftovers so far, and proving to be a bit of a problem. Dual Wing Beat does hit in this time, but only hits for about 18% damage total, and is starting to raise its attack again, down to 39% before a 6% heal from leftovers to 45%. While Salamence has taken significant damage now, is at 51%, but this Salamence, importantly, is a bulky Salamence with Roost and Protect. So both
I was starting to get worried for... I was worried for Adilius because it looked like his team didn't really have anything to directly damage the Dondozo. But, you know, both Pokemon on the field with Recover and Roost respectively mean that even if they do take any hits, they should be able to recover it off, while the other teammate is focusing on dealing damage to this Dondozo. We're likely going to see the rest coming out at some point, unless Dipperies thinks, like with my Dondozo being so low on HP, maybe I should just try to let it go down and do as much chip as possible. But we'll see.
have to imagine you want to get as much value out of this Dondozo as possible. We see a Protect come out, and the order up does go into the Protect, being denied. Very important. Earth Power goes into Dondozo, taking it to 27%. As Special Defense does drop here, that could be important. Especially if this Dondozo is going to try and stick around as long as possible with the rest. Any defense drops could be extremely impactful for this Gastrodon to slowly whittle away. We do get a Roost, and we also get the rest. But this time, the Earth Power does hit for about 32% because of that special defense drop.
Yeah, we know for the next 2 turns, Dondozo is likely only going to be taking damage since it is going to be forced into sleep. We'll just have to see if it's going to be enough to take down after 2-3 turns of its repeated attacks. We see another Earth Power come out, leftovers bringing the Dondozo up to 50%, and we have another turn where the Dondozo is guaranteed to be asleep.
Yep, for those that don't know, rest is a guaranteed 2-turn sleep. And it is at 15% health, and it will be outsped here. So a dual wing beat is close. It might be a damage roll, but it looks like it will survive long enough to rest again or to do a little bit of damage. However, Salamence could go for a Protect just to make sure it can't leave any marks.
Yeah, I think if you're Dip Breeze, you just go for damage here, because if you go through another cycle of all the hits of taking crunches and Earth Powers, you're just going to get more defense, or the chance of you having your defense drop even further is very likely. And if you barely survive 1 round of being resting, you're definitely not going to survive another if you just go for these.
No,
we see Order Up hit into the Salamence.
37% damage to Salamence, but of course this Salamence can roost back up, and Gastrodon ends the Dondozo as Tatsugiri is left spit out on the field, standing by itself. That was well done, very well navigated by Adilius to take care of this Dondozo. We know Armorogue is in the back, but we don't know what else Diprise has. And right now, it's staring down a pretty bulky duo here. Of course, Tatsugiri isn't no threat to a Salamence, but we do see an Alolan Ninetales enter the field as it begins to snow. Now this Alolan Ninetales
with Freeze Dry / Blizzard is threatening both Pokemon on the opposing side of the field.
Indeed, I was about to
maybe
say.
We see something. Yeah, maybe we see something like Ninetales Freeze Dry into Gastrodon while the Tatsugiri Dragon Pulses into the Salamence. I could imagine that being a likely play.
Yeah, on the other side of the field, I think Earth Power is certainly threatening, but otherwise, these Pokemon aren't threatening too much damage. We do see the 4th Pokemon come out for Adilius. Volcarona steps onto the field as Salamence protects, and a free Aurora Veil goes up for Ninetales. That is pretty impactful potentially here, as Dragon Pulse goes into the Protect. Now, normally, I believe that Ninetales would outspeed a Salamence, but of course that does come down to investment a bit. If this Ninetales goes for a Blizzard, there is a possibility that if Salamence can outspeed, it could roost and lose its flying type weakness. And whether or not it would live, I don't know, but it doesn't, and it does get blizzarded, and Salamence falls as Stevie Wonder takes a massive Muddy Water, and it is a double KO for Diprise. 1 Pokemon left for Adilius. Ninetales, an incredible switch right here. And we see a helping hand go into the Ninetales as another Freeze Dry, a big ice move comes out and removes Gastrodon. Was that Adilius' first loss in a doubles match?
I believe so. Dip Breeze ends up taking the first win for Planeta Cobblemon in this double set. Oh man, we have got a match on our hands over here, and I'm excited to see where this all goes.
Very, very well played. That Ninetales coming in and just outspeeding the entire team really is what made the difference there, I'd say. Of course, having the ability to hit these Pokemon very hard and super effectively, but the other Pokemon never even got a chance to go, and that turned out to be the difference. Now we will have to see how these battlers will adjust to what just happened. Of course, Dondozo proved not to be a massive threat, but Whimsicott not being able to set up the Tailwind and only being able to use Charm proved to be a huge problem for Adilius and his team down the line. And with that Dondozo threat, I don't know if he's going to be able to use that Hisuian Typhlosion at all, which is a significant diminishment of his strategy options here, because the only other Pokemon he can bring is Tinkaton, who also doesn't offer the best balance here. Of course, Tinkaton could handle that Ninetales with Gigaton Hammer, but other than that, I'm not sure how much value the Fake Out will provide against this team. I do think that Adilius has an uphill battle here to climb back into this match.
The last time that we got to see Adilius battle was when he ended up winning 2-0, and his strategy back then was really just making the most out of his Hisuian Typhlosion and setting up Sunny Days with the Whimsicott. But, you know, facing down a Dondozo, it's just unlikely that you're really going to be able to get too much out of that same strategy. So we have to, we will, if Adilius does have anything or any strategy to counter this, you know, we are going to see some new developments coming in from his side of the field.
Now, knowing that, we can also expect Dupree's to make a little bit of a read here. If I'm Dupree's, I might be a bit offensive here. Armorogue didn't even come into play last time. A bit offensive. I'm not sure what I said, but offensive here, because Armorogue does have the ability to do some damage here. Of course, Gastrodon is threatening, as opposed to last time when Gastrodon did not lead. But there are some mind games to be played here, and there will be some 50-50s of predicting Tailwind or big Giga Drains or anything like that here. And these players are considering very heavily what is about to happen. The threat of a big Dondozo coming together is significant, but not only that, I do think that Dupree's team has a little bit more flexibility. Dondozo could leave the field even. Muddy Water from the, well, I suppose Earth Power is a much safer play here from the Gastrodon, but Muddy Water is a threat from Adilius' side of the field as well, in the face of this Armorogue.
Now, I imagine that Dupree's, because of how comfortable he was last game, you know, seeing how well his team did offensively into Adilius, I imagine that he's rocking the same exact 4 we saw in game 1. But I wonder if Adilius, I think the Salamence, if any, is probably one of the Pokemon that you do switch out, because I don't think it was really doing too much for him in the last match. You know, it was missing its dual wing beats and not really doing anything else besides protecting and roosting every once in a while. So maybe we do see something like the Typhlosion just to get some Infernal Parades off for some good special attacking hits. But and something that, you know, could withstand a Alolan Ninetales as well as outspeed it. But we'll just have to wait and see what he has there.
I think if we, the other counter I'd say to that, we do see an Expanding Force go into the Volcarona who comes onto the field. Heavy Slam goes into it, maybe hoping for a burn. This is a Flame Body, and the burn does come out onto Dondozo. That is very impactful.
Wow.
Earth Power goes into Armorogue, a safe play. This Armorogue only has Wide Guard to stop anything, and this is a very different set already looking like. As you said, you know, the other thing that Salamence was bringing to the game is Intimidate, which was used significantly, not to do nothing, but with this burn, who needs Intimidate?
Yep, forever having that Dondozo's damage output. That was really nicely done by Adilius, you know, pivoting in. The burn, we'll see just how impactful it is over the course of the match. We know that he has Whimsicott in the back to keep charming the Dondozo in case that ends up being relevant later down the line. That damage that Expanding Force did, though, is definitely very, very concerning. Knowing that, or at least into the Volcarona. I'm not sure if maybe the Volcarona was also meant to be here in the back. To serve, I guess, a more redirection purpose later down the line.
Yeah, taking both the Heavy Slam and the Expanding Force did bring this Volcarona down below 50, but it should be safe on this next turn because of the burn. So we see Struggle Bug come out to take down Armorogue, and we do see it to chip in as well into the Dondozo. Dondozo goes for a rest early on as Earth Power takes it to 40% health without the assistance of Tatsugiri getting hit much harder. And the special defense drops. Ooh, this is not looking good for Dupreez so far in this second round of the best of 3 as Ninetales comes back onto the field. And this Ninetales proved to be more than a match for this team in the last game. But this time with Dondozo assuredly asleep, it doesn't have as much support as it might want.
Ninetales still the fastest thing on the field and able to threaten a KO on that Gastrodon with Freeze Dry. Inversely, we could also see something like the Heat Wave come out from the Volcarona, but I'm not sure what you play here because I feel like the Gastrodon is going to be invaluable when it's going to be so valuable when it comes to making sure that the Dondozo isn't going to be throwing off any wave crashes throughout the course of the match.
Well, as you said, if Hisuian Typhlosion is in the back, I do think that that's a good stand-in for this Gastrodon. But otherwise, you can't switch Salamence in, and you don't really want to give up Whimsicott in that way either. So this is a tough spot. He has to use the things at hand unless... I mean, Tinkaton could certainly take a Blizzard as well, but it would lose the Focus Sash. We see a Dondozo leave the field, still sleeping, as Tinkaton does come onto the field to protect that Gastrodon, and this Tinkaton is threatening a big hit into that Ninetales. There is Aurora Veil active, and some special attack drops go into the other side with the Struggle Bug. That is not insignificant either, weakening both of these Pokemon offensively on Dupreez's side of the field.
Yeah. Dupreez was able to get that Aurora Veil off. I feel like it's extremely likely that the Ninetales ends up switching out this turn, and in comes the Dondozo. Maybe we see Tinkaton knock off into the Dondozo slot to take out its leftovers. Volcarona could, of course, just still freely go for things like Struggle Bug.
I really like the way that Adilius made changes here to try and set up for the burn. He did bait in the same way as last time for that Heavy Slam and did get the burn, and that has proven very impactful so far in this fight. Inviting an early rest and something that where this Dondozo, because it can't threaten quite as much as it would, it is in a tougher position to position strategically, of course. We do see Volcarona leave the field as Gastrodon comes back onto the field, potentially expecting the swap. Blizzard goes in and critically hits. Dragon Pulse also follows up into Gastrodon, who is at 22% before the Citrus Berry. And Knockoff does go into Ninetales, exactly as you said. The Light Clay is gone, but that's not going to do it. I think that was a very nice play by Dupreez to predict something to not go, basically the Gigaton Hammer being held back here.
Yeah, it looks like Adilius fully predicted the Dondozo to be switching in. Dupreez likely expecting Adilius to think that way as well. Decided to make the most out of the both Pokemon that are on his side of the field and doing massive damage to the Gastrodon on the opposite side of the field.
Because Gastrodon gets outsped by both of these Pokemon, I believe it is in danger if Dupreez goes for it. But instead, Dondozo comes back onto the field. Commander activates. This Dondozo, I believe, still has 2 turns of sleep assured. Yes. But Volcarona is back on the field. And the Gigaton Hammer goes into Dondozo, not doing very much. So this Dondozo has cleared, I believe it had a special defense drop earlier. It did clear that, and it has gotten its Omni boost now next to Tatsugiri, and it cannot come off the field. Now, we do have a very good opportunity for a knockoff coming in this next turn to get rid of the leftovers, which will be impactful. And the knockoff does come out, and Whimsicott comes back onto the field at 60% health, and is it one more sleep turn? One more sleep turn still. This Dondozo is still in major danger, I would say, of a Giga Drain, of a Charm, whichever Adilius chooses to go for. Tinkaton off the field. Gastrodon back on as Charm goes in. This is a good place for him to try and get a heal off on his Gastrodon to protect his pieces. And Dondozo is at 0 attack.
Yeah, this Whimsicott's Charm coming in huge for this battle. Bringing down Dondozo's attack so that his Gastrodon stays safe. The critical hit!
Whoa!
Ignoring all of the attack drops and taking out the Whimsicott in one go. Oh my goodness.
I mentioned earlier that Focus Sash was on the Whimsicott. I think I misspoke. Obviously, that is a Covert Cloak Whimsicott, whereas this Tinkaton is Focus Sash. That surprised me, and that was very impactful.
Huge crit. Oh my goodness. In case you don't know, a critical hit ignores if you have any lowered attacks or any attack stages. So that was essentially a neutral hit coming off from the Dondozo. Of course, also 1.5 times boosted thanks to critical hit. If it wasn't for that, that Whimsicott would have been able to stay around just like it did last match. So
indeed.
Oh man.
The Earth Powers are going in a Play Rough as well, but the Play Rough is hit for about 10% maybe. Order Up comes out into the Gastrodon as Dondozo goes to -1 attack here. And it is getting chipped down. But in this position, maybe it does actually have a chance at another rest. It's hard to say, but it's always probably worth the chance here, rather than giving it up and seeing how the pace will go there.
Yeah, I don't think this Tinkaton's going to be able to pick off the KO, and it's faster than the Gastrodon, so it could definitely go for the...
Play Rough did in fact miss. Yes, and Earth Power taking it down 22%, but we will have 2 sleep turns here to determine. Tinkaton needs to be able to do about 30% damage in order for this thing to go down. 34% even. Play Rough misses
another Play Rough.
Oh no. We see another 22. Yeah, this Dondozo is going to get another attack off, I believe. And it could be a very impactful one. It's not facing much it can beat, but it can order up and slowly gain power, potentially. Oh, ooh, this is actually a very tight situation here. We see the Play Rough miss a 3rd time as Dondozo wakes up and orders up into Gastrodon. So this Dondozo has gotten a boost, but now it needs to rest if it's going to stay alive in this next turn, and Tinkaton needs to miss. Not for the first time.
Wow, this Tinkaton is blind.
Yeah. Pretty painful. But hopefully, this Tinkaton will be able to connect a very, it's teed up here. This is a 1-foot putt. A 3% Dondozo standing in front of it. It just needs to connect. And, I mean, it's important to say, I think that this is kind of a free recover turn for the Gastrodon as well. Looking at very healthy side of the field for Adilius after this turn, most likely. Knockoff goes out and is enough to get the 3% and cannot miss here. So Earth Power goes into Tatsugiri and it takes it to 17%. Very nice. As Ninetales comes back onto the field, and these are the last Pokemon for Dupree's, I believe. As Armorogue did go down early in the game. Oh. This is being masterfully played, I would say, by both of these trainers. I do think this is still maybe a dangerous situation, as Ninetales does, in fact, finish off the Gastrodon. The Gigaton Hammer comes out into Tatsugiri, allowing Ninetales to stay alive. The Volcarona must be feeling very confident here. And, of course, Ninetales not very much of a threat into this Tinkaton. And no Aurora Veil.
Roll for freezes.
Yeah, we know that the freeze.
Yeah, Tinkaton isn't going to be able to Gigaton Hammer this turn, so if it freezes the Volcarona, it can survive another turn. We see the Blizzard go out, no freezes, Play Rough hits into Ninetales. Heat Wave, does it hit too? It does.
It does.
And Adilius evens up the score.
Nicely
done. Oh my
done.
Goodness.
1-1 here in this best of 3 set, as Adilius is proving to be able to work against this Dondozo and this Ninetales now in concert. That first game, he was able to manage the Dondozo very well, but fell to the Ninetales, and now here we see the Ninetales go down to a combination of Gigaton Hammer and Heat Wave. Now it is up to our other battler, Deprise, to maybe make a swap around here. The Dondozo has not been very effective, I would say, in this whole matchup. Of course, it did help manage the Whimsicott by forcing it to take on a certain role, but I don't know if it's offering that much value in terms of winning capability. So we'll see whether or not we get a big shakeup here.
Yeah, the fact that even after missing so many attacks like the play roughs on Adelias' side and getting crit, the fact that he was still able to pull off the win just kind of goes to show that Deprise definitely should not stick with the same strategy. Yes, it won him game 1, but game 2, after seeing Adelias' adjustments, just kind of goes to show that he's hung around a lot longer than he should have because of, a couple of lucky instances that came up throughout the match. Agreed. So I do expect we'll see a switch. I think maybe he doesn't bring the Armor Rogue anymore because Armor Rogue hasn't really been doing too much. I think the most it's really done is throw out an expanding force that in conjunction with the other Pokemon that was paired up with it did like 50% to a Gastrodon or 70% to a Gastrodon. But we'll see.
I do think to see the Talonflame. The Gale Wings Talonflame coming out here, I would expect to see, and whether or not that means he'll go solo Dozo or even Tatsugiri by itself with a Life Orb here. It does have a taunt Tatsugiri here, which could be extremely impactful. If you leave Dondozo behind and you are able to get a taunt off on the Whimsicott, there are some things that can be helped here, but of course, I do think Armor Rogue in a Tailwind also threatens, so we'll see how he chooses to play this. We see a Ninetales Armor Rogue lead versus the Tinkaton and Gastrodon. Tinkaton threatening Fake Out to start here. Gastrodon hoping to deter any play from the Dondozo, and Armor Rogue, importantly, does offer Wide Guard support from any sort of muddy water, but this Earth Power we saw already has been very powerful. Now, neither of these Pokemon facing down the Tinkaton have a Covert Cloak, so we do see a swap. The Volcarona comes into that spot. Again, Freeze Dry into that slot, being soaked up by the Volcarona as a massive Gigaton Hammer removes Alolan Ninetales, and Armor Cannon goes into the Tinkaton, taking it down to 1%.
Held on with the Focus Sash.
Armor Cannon, for those not aware, that is basically a close combat. So this Armor Rogue has much lower defenses now. That Ninetales going down after a Freeze Dry is eaten up by this Volcarona was very, very unfortunate for Deprise. If it had gotten off Aurora Veil, there are things that could have been helped here, but right now, that looks like a big piece off the board for Deprise. And we see Tatsugiri come onto the field, indicating perhaps that Dondozo is in the back.
Muddy Water looks very good right now into the opposing side, and we know that Tatsugiri has an excellent speed tier as well. Not sure if it would be able to outrun a Tinkaton. It could risk getting knocked off. Let me just check speed tiers really quick. Naturally, Tinkaton is a little bit faster than the Tatsugiri. I'm not sure if you'd want to get your Life Orb knocked off in this situation. You could also take a mean Play Rough as well. Of course, I don't know if Adelias is going to go for it after seeing how many Play Roughs he missed in his last match, but we could also see the Dozo come in straight away. We do know that there's that mind game that Deprise can play where Adelias has to kind of be on his toes, whether do you expect the Dondozo to come in and do you target just down into the Armor Rogue slot, or what happens if he decides to, fake or juke out his opponent and keep both the Tatsugiri and Armor Rogue in without bringing the Armor Rogue and just having those two Pokemon deal out their own damage.
Yeah, this is a tough spot, I think. But Deprise, I believe, needs to go for some pieces here, needs to take some KOs. I think that if he brings Dondozo in here, he's actually in very big trouble, most likely, because we've seen that Dondozo struggle to do much of anything. And while we don't know if the Charm Whimsicott is in the back, even then, we still have the Gastrodon to get through. We have this these other Pokemon. If Tinkaton is still alive going into the Dondozo turn, I think that that's going to be a bad setup. You get the knockoff and all those things. We see Whimsicott come onto the field predicting a Dozo switch. Gastrodon also comes on. There is no swap, and this Tatsugiri is going to go for something. We see a big Muddy Water. It will chip into Whimsicott, but also boost the attack of this Gastrodon, and this is not a good spot to have your Dondozo in now.
Yeah, that Whimsicott also did not get its it's Covert Cloak, so it's also immune to the accuracy drops from the Muddy Water. So this is definitely a nice set of Pokemon to have facing off against a Tatsugiri on the opposite side of the field. I think you're very free to probably just double target into the Armor slot. Maybe maybe we see the Whimsicott set up a Tailwind and hope that the Gastrodon would be fast enough to hit into the Armor after that.
Well, an Earth Power from this Gastrodon at this point, I believe, will remove Armorogue because it has had its defenses dropped and this Gastrodon is boosted. We see Tatsugiri off the field as Dondozo comes in. Another swap, Whimsicott leaves the field and Volcarona comes on as Armor Cannon goes into Volcarona, taking it much lower. This is a solid trade here maybe, but Armorogue is gonna go down. That Earth Power is gonna be too powerful there.
Wow, so nice job in preserving the Whimsicott in the back. Now you know that you're going to be able to use it to, get the charms off later on in this match.
Agreed.
Yeah, I imagine that you just Earth Power into the Dondozo and Rage Powder with your Volcarona.
Yep. Yeah, this setup now is not looking very good for this Dondozo Tatsugiri, who is alone on that side of the field, as there have been 2 KOs already of Ninetales and Armorogue. And with Whimsicott in the back and likely to come in after this Volcarona has gone down, who is rocking a Rocky helmet, by the way. And in fact, it doesn't even have to. If he wanted to, there is a knockoff potential as well coming out just to weaken this Dondozo's recovery. It's not a great play, but it could be used in concert with a fake out as well, as this Tinkaton could stop a rest even at the right time. This is looking like a very, very hard uphill battle for this Dondozo to take down 4 Pokemon mostly by itself.
I mean, pretty much entirely by itself at that point. We know the Ninetales and Armorogue are both down. The Tatsugiri can't do anything because it is what's providing that Dondozo with a +2 Omni boost.
Well, if Tatsugiri does get a chance against something at the end, maybe it can finish something off if Dondozo can't, but that is it's a very niche situation. So we'll see how this plays out. And of course, with the Rage Powder, there is a chance of burn here. So it is a percentage game. We don't see the burn, importantly, as the attack power does raise on Dondozo and Earth Power goes into it, only taking it down about 22%, I want to say, as recovery kicks in with the leftovers, and we see Whimsicott come onto the field.
Yeah, I mean, so many times we've seen this exchange where it's really just the Gastrodon slugging through, trying to break down the Dondozo, while its ally on the other side tries to help out. We see the Charm come through. Do we see Heavy Slam again? We do see Heavy Slam.
Whimsicott only gets 1
Whimsicott
here.
goes down.
And this Dondozo is at +1. This is the highest it's been, I believe, because there are no Intimidates and there's only 1 Charm that was able to come off. This knockoff from the Tinkaton could be impactful, and it is 2 Pokemon to 2 Pokemon now. This Dondozo, if it can get through this Tinkaton, it will be a 1v1 versus the Gastrodon. It just needs to hit once.
Yeah, we're likely going to see the Fake Out come in to stop Dondozo for another turn and let the Gastrodon go for another Earth Power.
Indeed.
Maybe we see a special defense drop or something like that.
That would be
But
very
it's
big.
definitely looking it's looking very tricky right now.
The Fake Out does come out. Earth Power taking Dondozo to 48, and we'll get a little bit of recovery to 54% here. It is in range of 3 Earth Powers without any special defense drops. The knockoff does come out and only does about 8% damage. I don't think that's enough to bring it within range of 2 Earth Powers, unfortunately. So Tinkaton goes down, and I think it's still 3 Earth Powers. Is going to need 1 to 2 more. Yeah, I don't think...
There's a special defense
Oh,
drop.
it did get it. Oh, wow. So that special defense drop actually may have just lost Dondozo a turn. That is extremely impactful, and it may be forced to go for rest here now. I believe that's the only option it has. It does go for it, and we'll see if we get another special defense drop. It may not matter. 38% there.
28%.
Or 28. Apologies, yes.
No worries.
44%. It's got 1 turn to attack in between, but it can get boosts. It is going to come down to potentially special defense drops. Oh no, actually it just feels so long with the rest coming in before the Earth Power. And now this Dondozo has 1 turn where it will wake up. What's it gonna do? It needs to crit, I suppose, and a big crit at that.
Yeah, then it's just going to be Tatsugiri and Gastrodon facing off against each other. We're likely going to see 1 big hit come out from this Dondozo, likely an order up to hit the Gastrodon. And then after that, it's all going to be on if Dragon Pulse from Tatsugiri is enough to finish it off. We do have to remember that this is a +1 Gastrodon. It did take a wave crash earlier in the match.
Yes. Yep. It absorbed up some Muddy Water attack, and it is capable of dealing this damage, clearly. Man, I suppose they're just running a calc to see what will do most damage, Order Up or Heavy Slam, but this is looking like Tatsugiri will, in fact, have this match on its back. And the first point of this best of 5 between Planeta Cobblemon and Tropimon.
And that's crazy, knowing that we're also 40 minutes in.
These are very well played matches. We'll see how these players can adapt as well. Seeing this first match is only the beginning here. We will have plenty more action between these two teams. And it looks like the Prees must, I assume, be deeply in thought here, trying to figure out what the best play is. I don't know if there's any... You see, the Dragon Pulse or Muddy Water is not going to be in play, and Dragon Pulse is the only thing coming out of that Tatsugiri that can injure this Gastrodon, and this Dondozo can only Order Up or Heavy Slam. Of course, it could rest, but it would be going right back to this position or worse with special defense drops.
Yeah, I noticed that they're taking their time to make moves, but I don't think that there's any other move except just doing Earth Power and Order Up into each other's side of the field. I wonder if there's something that we're missing that both these battlers see as an alternative.
I'm gonna say no here, Jim. No, you know, the only thing, the biggest thing I would say in Gastrodon's favor at the moment is probably the Citrus Berry it's holding, unless this could be big, because 57% maybe is in range of Dragon Pulse, and it needs to go down. If the Citrus Berry procs, I do think that this might be over. I mean, maybe Tatsugiri gets 2 turns here. I'm not familiar with Tatsugiri's defensive stats and how well it can take this Gastrodon at +1, but here we go. There is only, I mean, I suppose you could taunt here with your Tatsugiri if you're afraid of a recover. That's the only other thing I can think of. It's Dragon Pulse and it's taunt, and it goes to 4% and an incredible live as Citrus Berry procs. But that isn't enough. We do see the recover come out. Oh, a taunt could have been massive there, and now we see another hit.
I wonder if the
Earth Power goes in. And it does
takes
remove
it out.
The Tatsugiri.
I have a feeling that the Earth Power wouldn't have killed unless there was the unless that 10%
Life orb.
life orb chip would have gone through. So very nicely done by Adelias
Well
in
played.
recovering that turn.
That was incredible. Yeah, I think you're right. It did seem like it was a very close hit. And we see Tropimon take a 1-0 lead. I'm going to swap the logos around on the stream, just because of the positions they are on. I believe this is correct, or maybe I had it backwards. Well, we'll see. And
ooh, Planeta Cobblemon deciding on singles.
yes, indeed. We will be going to singles for the next match, and we will find out who these battlers are and what the 12 Pokemon are that will be facing off against each other very shortly. How do you feel that impacts this match, Novo? I mean, we've seen Adelius win plenty in the past. It's almost something that we might have relied upon, but now we have actually seen it. And Planeta Cobblemon is down a game here, a game point. What do we think that this impacts their decision making at all, or is it just business as usual here?
I think you just keep moving forward. Diprees, of course, being one of their strongest, or probably their strongest doubles battlers, taking a loss probably gives them a hit when it comes to trying to decide on future double matches. I think maybe we see somebody like Leno come up for their singles matches. I know he's been a really strong battler as well, if I'm not mistaken. But aside from that, I feel like Tropimon is very, very happy to have the doubles game already locked in.
We do see R7 rocking the Rayquaza, clearly ready to bring it to the next match, and also standing potentially in the spot where we think they will be going next for the singles. I'm taking a look at some stats, and R7 G7 is 5-3 in doubles, and I just wanted to see like what other teams can we see here. Out of Planeta Cobblemon, there are 2 battlers who are 2-0 in singles. We see both Gabzenbot and Raphael being 2-0 from them, and Tropimon having, of course, Master Sans at 3-0.
Yep, I have received the first team sheet. Just waiting on Planeta Cobblemon right now. Oh, just got the second one. All right, Vert, I'm gonna send these your way.
Beautiful.
Now, we won't share them until both battlers are in team preview. You should have it now.
Yep, thank you. Now, in this match, we will see Gabzen face off against Master Sans, and as I mentioned earlier on in this coverage of the match, Master Sans has the highest KO, how do we say this? KD ratio, basically, for their Pokemon, with 14 Pokemon going down against them versus, well, sorry, a total of 18 going down while they only lost 4 Pokemon during 3 different matches. An incredible ratio in their wins, and so they are very potent.
Both battlers are in team preview, so you are free to go ahead and share the team sheets now. Remember, for singles, only the Pokemon are revealed. No movesets, no EVs. It's not like VGC where you have the access to moves, abilities, and held item. The only thing that both players know of each other are the Pokemon that each one will bring.
Well, let's take a look at these teams a little bit. On Planeta Cobblemon's side of the field, we see a Crawdaunt, a Galvantula, Kilowattrel, Dragapult, Primarina, and Meowscarada. Very, some fairly anti-meta picks in some ways, I would say. Not fully anti-meta, but We see Glamora and Hisuian, Samurott, Goldango, Primarina, Hatterene, and Meowscarada from Master Sands, and they are already underway as a Kilowattrel and a Glamora are facing off to start this match.
Now, something really interesting that I want to point out is that Gabson's team doesn't really have any hazard removal. I don't believe that Kilowattrel gets default. I'm going to quickly check just to make sure. Yeah, it doesn't. And more importantly, Master Sands has a Hatterene with Magic Bounce. We know that Gabson has the Galvantula, which has been known to set up sticky webs in every match, or at least try to set up sticky webs. But knowing that the Hatterene is in the back that could possibly bounce back any attempt at sticky webs and crippling your side of the field without you being able to remove it, definitely adds a whole lot to the mind games right now. I think just off of team preview alone, Sands probably does have a stronger team on paper right now.
Well, we see the Volt Switch come out, taking Glamora down below 50% as Galvantula does come onto the field to take Stealth Rocks on Gabson's side of the field. And as you say, once those are down, they may be there forever, or they are there forever based on this team.
Oh yeah, this is Gabson is definitely gonna have a tough time dealing with all these hazards that could potentially be going up.
Yeah, it does look like a full suite of them is possible. And of course, as you said, if Magic Bounce comes out at the wrong time, even Sticky Web.
Yeah, I wonder, do you predict Master Sands to bring in the Hatterene and just go for something like a discharge, chipping it down?
I think that's a good play early on, especially if you really don't have a way to remove anything here. Playing a bit carefully in the beginning has a lot to offer, as we've seen, I think, in most of these singles matches. And if you're Master Sands, you don't need to be in a hurry, although this may be your only Toxic Spikes option, so you don't maybe want to give Glamora up either. What do you see, Novo?
1 second.
As Hatterene does come in and a discharge goes out, taking it to about 67%. Now, we do respect Master Sands, of course, also for bringing shinies on their team and nicknaming the Pokemon. Bug Buzz comes out, taking Hatterene to 32% as Dazzling Gleam goes into Galvantula, eating it okay, 38% health here. If this Galvantula can take down Hatterene and get a Sticky Web off at any point, it will be able to keep it on the field, I believe, at least. I don't believe there's a Rapid Spinner on either side of the field unless Glamora gets it. And these two battlers are moving at a good clip so far. Galvantula doing some work here, being able to stay in against this Hatterene so far. And I think potentially threatening, it looks like it might be a roll, or it might just be not quite enough. Actually, running it back, it was only 30% hit there. So this Galvantula is giving up its life most. It is not. Bug Buzz does manage to take down the Hatterene. And now Galvantula, if it can outspeed whatever comes in here, which I'm sure Master Sands is aware of as he brings in a Meowscarada, this Galvantula, if can be positioned later on in the fight to get the Sticky Web up, it is free to do so, but it does need potentially to be protected here. Galvantula having a great base speed, but if this Meowscarada is also invested in speed, which most of the time I would say it is, then it will not be very safe to try and go for anything here. Glim gets Mortal Spin. Right. Thank you. So yes, there is still removal on Master Sand's side of the field, but Sticky Web is at least in play for Gabson here. And it is a best of 5, so there will be a game 3 no matter what. Scarf Meowscarada is very popular, but we've seen plenty of other options here, as Expert Belt has been shown, even Choice Band, I believe. Galvantula leaves the field for Primarina, a very interesting choice, expecting the U-turn perhaps, as U-turn goes into Primarina, taking it to 67% after Stealth Rocks, and Meowscarada will be trading out. Master Sans taking their time, using their Pokemon here, not wanting to give anything too much away. I assume, as this Meowscarada did, it seemed pretty likely that this Meowscarada was going to U-turn there, but now here, with Primarina on the field, as that play was well predicted, let's see what Sans is going to go for. Primarina being a mainstay in these games, and Primarina being on both sides of these teams, of course, as well. While I do expect these different hazards to play a big role in favor of Master Sans, I do feel pretty good right now about Gabson's team having a very good shot at this. We see Glimmora come back onto the field facing down this Primarina, of course, threatening good poison damage. But also being weak itself to whatever attack may be coming its way. And it may come down to how this Primarina is trained. We have seen some fast Primarinas, and a Choice Scarf Primarina would represent an incredible threat here. There's the battle music. And this has turned into quite a pensive match between these two battles. Of course, their tournament lives are on the line. Whatever team wins here will move on to the top 4, and whatever team loses will be eliminated as the 6th remaining team in the tournament. This commentator doesn't know what else to tell you here, but these players are definitely giving it everything they've got and considering all their options. A prediction here could change the course of the game. As Gabson may have had a bit of a worse team to start, I do think that they're doing a good job. But this time they stay in with Primarina. Sludge Wave comes out and Primarina is removed. That is a big chip removed from their team. A big piece. And Master Sans showing some love to his Glimmora there. Some excitement. That is a big turn of events. These teams are down 1-1 here. So there is a Primarina that has gone down to the Sludge Wave, and there is a Hatterene that has gone down, and now Galvantula comes onto the field, taken down to 13% from Pointed Stones. Big damage right here. This thing is not usually meant to come onto the field multiple times. And it has managed to maneuver well to be in this position, hopefully to set up sticky webs, but whether or not it can... Oh, and it doesn't. It goes for discharge. It does outspeed the Glamora. Glamora goes down, 2 down for Master Sand's team, and here comes the Meowscarada again, inviting either a big knockoff or a big U-turn from this Meowscarada. All right. Well, these teams are playing well, and you can see that there is a lot of thought going on to this. I wonder, though, that Glamora going down before it could set up Toxic Spikes does seem like an impactful trade, as Meowscarada does give the U-turn out, and Gabzin, I suppose, deciding that it wasn't worth letting this Meowscarada hit into whatever else he was going to be able to trade in here in order to get sticky webs up. So although he does not have any removal, now Master Sands doesn't either, and now there is no threat of Toxic Spikes. Whether or not that's impactful to his team, I'm not sure. I mean, Primarina already being down means that the Toxic Spikes certainly would have been decreased in value to some degree, but here we are with 2 Pokemon down on each side of the field. It is turn 9 coming up once Gabzin has selected a Pokemon to face off against this Bug-type Primarina. Sorry, Bug-type Meowscarada, who will also be leaving the field. We see a Netherite Goldango step onto the field for Master Sands. And this is another Pokemon that, depending on how it is built, can threaten very differently. And on the other side of the field, Gabzin has to choose from a Crawdaunt, a Meowscarada of his own, a Kilowattrel, and a Dragapult. And we see Crawdaunt come on, taking a bit of Stone's damage.
I think that this is Crawdaunt's second appearance in the entirety of the Cobblemon World Cup so far. Of course, has access to the adaptability, ability. Threats some major damage all around. Also gets access to 2 incredible stab moves to take advantage of that in Crabhammer and Knockoff. A Knockoff right here is going to do major damage to whatever's on the other side of the field. Master Sands, maybe you just let your Goldango go down so that nothing else on your team takes any big hit here. I doubt you really want to take too much chip on anything. If anything does switch in, it's probably going to be the Samurai. Oh, no, we do see the
Crabhammer misses. So, not only well predicted, I suppose, that he would change, but unfortunate miss. At this stage in the game, you really don't want to have those misses if you're Planeta Cobblemon. We see another Crabhammer come out, taking Primarina to 27%, and a Moonblast comes out, removes Crawdaunt.
Yeah, if that Crabhammer would have landed, that Primarina would have gone down to 2 hits. And we did see Crawdaunt outspeed it as well. So that was a major miss in this match.
Indeed. Rest in power, Mr. Craw. You did deserve more. Well, we are now down 3 Pokemon on Gabzin's side of the field as Dragapult comes in, threatening with speed here.
Wonder what move we see revealed. Maybe something, no. This is a little bit tricky because, you can't hit it with any dragon move. Phantom Force, would leave your Dragapult vulnerable. In the event that this Primarina switches out. We see Double Edge. Oh, wow.
Taking a bit of recoil, but this Dragapult is revealed to be wearing boots in order to maneuver in safely. And it is now 3 Pokemon for 3 Pokemon. officially, I believe this is likely one of the closest matches Master Sans has had during the World Cup. And he is down to his Meowscarada, Hisuian Samurott, who we have not seen yet, and Netherite Goldango versus the Dragapult, Meowscarada, and Kilowattrel for Gabzon. I do think that this game is still a bit close. There are options of U-turn and Volt Switch coming out from Gabzon. There are the big Meowscarada, who we've seen do amazing things in these tournaments. For both sides of the both teams, and Goldango and Dragapult both being threatened by the knockoffs here. We have the Meowscarada on the other side of the field come in for Master Sans as his choice to face down against this Dragapult. Now, if this Dragapult is choice locked, do you expect to see a swap, or what do you do? Do you just get as much chip as you can?
I did notice that this Dragapult didn't take any Stealth Rock damage, so it is running heavy duty boots. But do you even have the option to switch out into something in the back?
The Scarf outspeeds.
That is a Scarf Meowscarada.
And Dragapult goes down as another Meowscarada steps in, and now it is Meowscarada versus Meowscarada. This could be a speed tie here. And could come down to a roll as to who will go first. That is a Dark type Meowscarada on Master Sans side of the field. Giving it a 2x weakness to Bug.
Yeah, Meowscarada also didn't take. Oh wait, never mind. It did take Stealth Rock damage, so it could be both Pokemon running Scarf. Do we know if Gabzon has anything remaining in the back to prevent your own Meowscarada?
Is the only Pokemon left for Gabzon. Having these lists makes it much easier for me to keep track for everyone.
Perfect. Yeah, so I get Gabzon's only move here is just going for U-turn, assuming that he is the choice Scarf indeed.
Here we see the swap. Goldango comes in, a U-turn goes out, and that will be soaked up handily by the Goldango as Kilowattrel is forced onto the field. Now, we have seen some players run Power Gem before on Goldango. I don't know if this one's rocking it. I don't know if this one needs it, but...
Yeah, in singles, you don't really see Power Gem. I think we've only seen one Power Gem Goldango brought to a singles match in the entirety of the tournament, specifically for the Volcaronas that could come up. But even then, it wasn't able to pick up a one-hit KO. So I think players have dropped it in favor of just running dual stab with two status moves that support.
Fair points. Well, with 2 Pokemon left on the left side of the screen, Kilowattrel and Meowscarada, and 3 on the right, this turn will be impactful as this Kilowattrel does manage to have a favorable matchup against Hisuian Samurott and against Meowscarada. But if it goes down here, that could be a huge Shadow Ball goes in and is enough to remove it as Goldango eats the discharge. Meowscarada is on its own now on Gabzon's side of the field.
Yeah, and I think here, Sans is going to be able to lock it up. Meowscarada very free to just go for... Oh, it decides to lock itself into Play Rough instead. Oh,
Make
goes
it rain
down.
Comes out. Oh, no. And that is going to be...
Sans has taken into
2-0 lead for Tropimon here. All right. Well... we will get a decision out of Tropimon whether they want singles or doubles coming up here. Or Planeta Cobblemon, sorry, again. We have not been in this situation, so I messed that up. But Planeta Cobblemon should be picking again, I believe, what format we will see here.
Yep. This is starting to look very, very dangerous for Planeta. This does mean that if Tropimon secure this match, it means that in the first best of 5 in the tournament, they pull off a perfect, or not a perfect, but they pull off the 3-0 sweep. From here on out, Planeta Cobblemon needs to win every single match. If they lose any more round points, they are eliminated from the 2025 Cobblemon World Cup. So the pressure is on a million right now for them. They need to think very carefully about what format they have or what format they decide to choose. But honestly, I feel like if you're Tropimon, I feel like you're really comfortable with whichever one we have in the back. We see players on that bench like R7 in the back to be able to handle a doubles match. We see other players like Pichad available to handle another singles match if it comes to that.
And it will be
Planeta
singles.
has locked in singles.
Teams are going to be playing singles again. We will get these poke pastes once again to you all once these battlers are ready. But this is where it all comes into play. You know, hey, maybe we'll see another stall match. Maybe we'll see some switched up tactics here. You gotta imagine, you know, in the early group stage, of course, every team is giving everything they have. But if you have any tech left to try and surprise here, this is the way to do it, in my opinion. This is the time. So where White Spaniard stands alone right now, sort of in the ability to run stall over and over, and where we have seen plenty of doubles teams attempted to be innovated, this is kind of the place to be running a team where, hey, maybe it's not the most meta, but it is something that you can move forward with, and even maybe it matches up well against what you know these opponents might be bringing, because these teams have gotten to see each other plenty during this tournament. And as those mentioned in chat, that crab hammer miss was a very unfortunate miss on that Primarina, allowing the opposing Crawdont to go down before it could do much else.
Just waiting on the Planeta Cobblemon singles sheet. But once I have that, we should be underway.
Who will we see face off against each other in this match-deciding singles battle? Planeta Cobblemon, as has been mentioned, must go undefeated from here out in terms of taking match points. This will be down to the wire, I'm certain. And there are other Planeta Cobblemon members that I've seen both be 2-0. Gabzenbot was 2-0 before that battle. Raphael is also 2-0 currently during this tournament. So they still have a deep bench that is able to do this, able to take these wins. Trying to look who else there is showing up on their results, but for the most part, because it's best of 3, you wouldn't see too many different teams or different battlers. And I'm not sure if there's anyone else on Planeta Cobblemon that has results currently.
Yep, still just waiting for the Planeta Cobblemon team sheet. Once we get that, we are ready to start underway. I'm guessing that they are, just looking amongst their battlers, deciding on who the best one to bring out is going to be. Every choice in battlers that they make for the remainder of the match, or at least of this set, is going to be highly, highly important. The entire server is on the line right now, so they need to make sure that they got the person that's able to perform the best under this pressure going up first to, build up some confidence for Planeta, if they are able to force something like a game 4, game 5.
Now, the last quarterfinals match is between who, Novo?
That is going to take place on one second, I just scheduled it today. That's going to actually take place tomorrow, between EV Empire and Roanoke. They're going to be doing a best of 3 at 3 p.m. EST.
Okay, so we do see at least Roanoke online, I believe, in some respect, scouting. I don't think I see EV Empire currently, but of course there are match replays for them to check out later. And we see Planeta Cobblemon rotating around. Maybe they're ready?
I have just gotten, yep, both are ready, so we can start queuing up the match.
It's one of those things where there are so many. If you have many, many battlers and people who haven't been seen before, there is an advantage potentially of saving some of your best battlers for later in the series as well. If you ever followed like playoffs for baseball, so to speak, the order in which pitchers are used in a series is sometimes one of the most impactful things. And I do wonder what level of strategy there is for that down the road. Maybe we don't see it today, but as this is only the first Cobblemon World Cup, I do expect at some point for us to see something like that, where there is a very known meta, there are people that are known and how they battle, and eventually it will be a bit of a prediction match between whether you even know what this person is going to do or not. If it's well scouted and they're using the same teams, that is trouble.
Yeah, I've loved seeing that be employed a lot. Like I noticed for Aureus MC, arguably their best battler is White Spaniard, but they never really opened up matches with him. He seems to kind of always be reserved for game 2 or game 3. Mm-hmm. We also have teams like like Cobble Decks that was eliminated. I remember a battler, Blind, who also never opens up. He's always the one to close out the matches instead. So I'm very seeing how teams keep some of their heavy hitters in the back also means that you can send out new battlers for game 1 or game 2 just to kind of get them a little bit of experience in the tournament, knowing that if they do end up losing, at least they have that experience, and you still have heavy hitters in the back to still bring any setback from the loss.
So true. And right now we see Baloo the Lazy for Planeta Cobblemon, who is 1-1 in this tournament in singles battles. And on the other side of the field, we see Tornade. And Tornade Blanche is 1-0 with 4 Pokemon remaining. So a handy win, but only 1 effort so far in singles and none in VGC. As we have seen a lot of different, what do we call this? Specialization between these battlers. I don't know how many we've seen that have done both VGC and singles.
Leno in the chat saying, I just came here to say Crawdonk got benched. Oh, man.
Pretty
very
sad.
fair, very fair.
But hey, he tried. He did try. Now, let's take a look at these teams. Novo, on one side, we are seeing a Pokemon who I consider to be one of the best Pokemon in Cobblemon right now, Aegislash. But I think I think of him as stronger in doubles, I'll say, because of his ability to protect. That being more valuable typically in doubles. But on Planeta Cobblemon's side of the field, we see a Rapid Spinner in Avalugg, a Glow King Regenerator, a Volcarona, a Galvantula, a Meowscarada, and a Dragapult. And then on the other side...
One thing I noticed is that Planeta Cobblemon absolutely adores Galvantula and Sticky Web strategies. Almost every single one of their singles matches has always included a Galvantula to set up Sticky Web on the opposite side of the field. which is really cool to see. One thing that is interesting about singles, at least like back on Smogon, is that sometimes a lot of team styles tend to kind of also be cultural in a sense. You know, there are certain countries that participate in like the Smogon World Cup, for example, that kind of start bringing or creating this sort of or having this sort of team style that's very native to them. And so seeing that pop up in the World Cup as well with Planeta Cobblemon, you know, really, really loving Galvantula and sticky web setups, it's cool to see because it's just more something that you can attribute to, I guess, the sort of battle culture that might exist on those servers. That probably prioritizing play styles like hyper offense most of the time. And we do see the match begin. Excellent lead by Tornad Blanche. This is the freest Stealth Rock or Salt Cure ever. Probably, Baloo, you immediately are going to need to switch out. Volcarona isn't going to do anything against Garganacl and is threatened by a lot of damage. So, on lead alone, very nicely done by Tornad. And if he gets Stealth Rock up, that's dangerous for Galvantula later down the line because its Focus Sash would likely break. We do see the Salt Cure come out instead of Stealth Rock. Now, Meowscarada can, of course, dish out a heavy Flower Trick right here. But I'm not sure if that's exactly what you want to... I believe that Garganacl could be able to survive a Flower Trick and, you know, dish out a big Earthquake, maybe neutralizing Meowscarada off the bat, of course at the expense of itself. Unlikely because, you know, if you saw that Volcarona, you definitely want to conserve your Garganacl for that. But maybe we see a more aggressive play coming out from Tornado. Maybe he predicts a U-turn so that Baloo is thinking that maybe he could keep up some sort of momentum and Tornado tries to shut it down.
We do see the U-turn come out from Meowscarada. And another swap.
The guard does stay in. I wonder if you get up rocks on this turn or if you do just go for the Earthquake.
And just to mention it, the other side of the field, Tornade Blanche, while I talked about one of the teams, Tornade is bringing in Aegislash, Cinderace, Glow King, Meowscarada, Garganacl, and Hisuian Samurott. The Cinderace famously with that court change, threatening the other side with that sticky webs in this case. So unless that Cinderace can be neutralized, the sticky webs are a bit of a dangerous play. And we see a recover come out from the Garganacl, a very safe play here, expecting to be able to live the Flower Trick if it came out, and Glow King comes in to face against this Garganacl.
Yep, Garg, of course, this Garg is just getting free turns after free turn because it is just safe to go for either Salt Cure or it could go for Earthquake right now. It does go for the Earthquake, does some big damage, bringing Slowking below 50%, but Slowking Chilly Reception's out. Activates his Regenerator to get some HP. And back in comes a Meowscarada. Now, you U-turned last time, but if you're facing down the Garg, you definitely Flower Trick now. You know, you got juked out once. Don't let it happen to you again, I guess.
This time, the Garg is at 100%, whereas last time it was at around 70. So, do we expect it to be able to KO this Meowscarada in return?
Definitely not KO in return. I wonder if Tornade just, you know, still has or like disrespects the Meowscarada threat in front of him and decides to stay in. I'm surprised we haven't seen rocks go up at all. I guess he doesn't really care too much if the Galvantula sets up a sticky web because he of course has Cinderace in the back to reverse them just in case that becomes relevant.
That does make sense, being a little bit patient with these sort of hazards. Flower Trick does go into the Aegislash for about 24% health. It is rocking leftovers back to 80%, which is a good choice for an Aegislash, I would say. I haven't seen Aegislash thrive much in singles, but what are your thoughts on it?
Aegislash has been really good in singles. We see a lot of Swords Dance with priority Shadow Sneak to do massive chip to the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Nice double switch predicting the Volcarona. But Aegislash is really, really strong in singles right now. Of course, has its King Shield. It has Iron Head. It has Sacred Sword. It has a Shadow Sneak ability to set up swords dances behind its incredible bulk. So in singles, it's definitely a good pick. It's one of those Pokemon that does threaten Goldango a lot. You know, they do have like that type mirror matchup, but if you set up a swords dance, Goldango just never wants to come in against you.
Very fair.
You see two Slow Kings facing off against each other. We're probably going to see Future Sight on one side and Chili Reception on the other. Or maybe double. Oh no, we do see Future Sight Chili.
And we see Future Sight come out from the Planeta Cobblemon side as Chili Reception goes out for Tropimon. And that
I think we're
on the right
very
side.
likely. I think Tropimon is. Tornado is probably going to bring in Hisui and Samurott to just go for a Ceaseless Edge on the opposite side of the field. We're probably going to see. Go for it.
I just wonder if they're holding off on any hazards for the moment until they get to deal with any sort of court change stuff. As we see Meowscarada come in, threatening the Glow King potentially instead.
Ooh.
And I think that is sort of the play, maybe, is they want to be able to court change, but they don't want to give themselves any hazards, it seems.
Yeah, knockoff is also good because it of course threatens the KO on Slow King. And if something like the Avalugg tries to come in to take any hits, or the Volcarona, both are likely running heavy duty boots, and being able to knock off their boots does mean that Stealth Rock and Spikes are going to be a lot more impactful later down the line.
True.
So definitely a patient game that Tornado is playing right now. Not what I expected when I saw him stay in with the Garganackle facing down against Meowscarada, but it's been working out in his favor so far.
Well, you gotta wonder, maybe this is a confident play. Maybe he's seen Baloo's matches before, and maybe there's something here to that. We see U-Turn come out into the Avalugg, taking 13% damage into its beefy defensive bulk. And Meowscarada will be leaving the field again.
If it's not that Hisui and Samurott, this Future Sight is also going to be coming out to do damage.
Oh, very true.
Oh wait, that was put up last turn if I'm not mistaken. So no, there still should be a turn before the Future Sight comes out. We see Marseille, the Garganackle, come right back in, able to go for something like Assault here.
We see the Salt Kill come out into Avalugg as Avalugg stays in and uses Avalanche against Garganackle to about 22% damage, but Future Sight taking it down to about 40%.
Garg should pretty comfortably recover this off. We do see the recover go through. Avalugg also recovering its health.
Both recovering. We're seeing a little bit of a stall here, as no Pokemon have gone down, and few threats really as we go into turn 11. Salt Cure into the Glow King. Nothing crazy going on here so far. Now, if you were to look through these teams, do you have any feeling on an advantage between the two teams just at preview, or from what we've seen so far, as really no major pieces have been even revealed, I would say, or used up in any way. Earthquake does come out from the Garganackle, but Avalugg eating it handily.
Yeah, I honestly think that Tornado is honestly pretty safe to try to set up some hazards. You know, Galvantula is extremely likely wearing the or it has like the Focus Sash item equipped. I doubt it would be running heavy duty boots. You know, it is a possibility, but I feel like if you start getting hazards up on the opposite side of the field, and you know, having your Meowscarada go for as many knockoffs as possible, you can start pressuring the opposite team a whole lot more. And you know, you have some good speed to deal damage to a Galvantula before it attacks. You know, you have the Cinderace. You still have a knockoff with Meowscarada. And I wonder if you even care that much about having Sticky Web up on your side if you are Tornado, because I guess the only time it would really matter is if the Meowscarada if the Meowscarada isn't running boots.
Well, we see another big Earthquake land into Glow King. who has not been fully recovering throughout this. It's been mainly just eating up these big hits. Meowscarada comes onto the field, facing down this Garganacl again, and so far this Garganacl has just wanted to stay on the field. So let's see whether or not Meowscarada goes for a big flower trick. I don't think it has yet. Or actually it did once to a swap into the Aegislash. This time, Bernard has shown multiple different responses already to this situation. Let's see what he chooses here. Only Shark. I have not been counting Garg PP, and I'm hoping that I don't have any reason to within this battle.
I mean, this Garg has just been staying on the field for so long. Ooh, we do see the knockoff come out. Very likely that this Meowscarada is locked into it, meaning that Garg should be pretty free to go for Assault Cure. If we don't see an item, we do see Assault Cure into Glowking. Glowking is very likely going to hard switch out. Probably doesn't want to go for a Chilly Reception, so you probably just Assault Cure again if you're Tornado.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to see. There's no Earthquake immunities on his team. I don't know.
Avalugg, I mean, Garganacl is just something that Baloo really doesn't seem to be prepared for. The only thing that really would ever do anything is a Meowscarada, and that Meowscarada is slowly, being chipped down, not really doing anything to the Garg. Nothing else in his team is going to be able to break this down, so I have to wonder what Baloo's strategy is going to be. Maybe just try to get the Meowscarada in and just start attacking directly in front of it as much as it can. But this Garg is definitely a huge problem right now.
Proving itself a very formidable wall for sure, as this Avalugg and Garganacl face down each other for maybe the 5th or 6th turn of this 20-turn battle so far. And we do see a swap. Avalugg comes back out as Glowking eats another Salt Cure, falling just into Earthquake range, I believe, and having to switch out again. Hard swap comes out, and Avalugg comes back in. We are in a time loop.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see what Baloo's trying to do here. Maybe find a way to get his Meowscarada in, but I guess maybe he's also trying to stall out the Salt Cure PP.
He also is gaining a little bit of health as well on Slowking on each regenerator. He's still not in range of living the Earthquake, but on one more of these, I do think he would be able to. While Avalugg, of course, is taking some damage, but able to recover it back.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked, and I think that there's only been 12 Salt Cures used by the Garganacl, so it is brought down halfway through, but it means that if you're Baloo, it also means you're only 12%, I mean 50% of the way to exhausting this Garg from all of its Salt Cures.
Well,
see another one come right back out.
If that is the move, then it's what it has to be, I suppose, but I wonder at what point his own team will be running into some recovery issues here. Garganical does step off the field here in favor of Cinderace to threaten the Garganical, but Slowking was also brought in. We are on turn 30, and no one has taken a KO. Shades of White Spaniard. Pyro Ball comes out, bringing Slowking down to 19%
Huge
as
Pyro Ball.
Toxic goes out. That was a powerful attack there. Now, Cinderace being poisoned is nothing, but this Slowking does need to get out of here. And whether or not it can do so safely with anything else in the back is a significant question.
Cinderace does not have U-turn in this format. I feel like you don't go for a Power Ball again. I feel like if anything, you might double switch out if you're Tornad, just to not take another round of poison damage, and because you probably expect Slowking to want to switch out to get his regenerator
Pyro
active.
Ball, and the reason is there's
Ooh.
nothing on this team that wants to take a Pyro Ball. Dragapult was the only answer that wasn't super effectively affected by it. So that does make sense to me as like a very offensive but safe play in this current situation where Galvantula, Meowscarada, Avalugg, and Volcarona are all not really happy to be taking a Pyro Ball as Aegislash comes in to take up these Dragon Darts. And for those asking in chat, this is both doubles and single formats. So we are doing doubles and singles. This match currently is singles, but we have seen both singles and doubles already to determine the other match points between these two titans of this inaugural Cobblemon World Cup, competing for their spot in the semifinals. Yeah, that Pyro Ball is actually a really interesting advantage here. It makes sense to preserve it here, but it also made sense to me to use it there as it was free damage coming in. Nobody wants to give up their Glowking, but really Dragapult was the only swap in that could eat it without going down. Avalugg might have been able to take the hit, but it wouldn't have wanted to.
I wonder if you're a Tornad, if you go for just something like the Shadow Sneak to do some damage here. I think it's even able to pick up a KO actually from this range. Nothing on the I guess it wouldn't, because it might fear Volcarona switching in and getting burned through Flame Body.
Good point. We do see a swap. Volcarona steps onto the field, and another hard swap from Aegislash back to this
nice
immortal
double.
Garganical. That is the second
Nice
time
double by Tornad.
we've seen that. So Baloo is going to have to start predicting the predictions a little bit here, I think, in order to get a lead as Glowking comes on and is going to get Salt Cured and be back into that Earthquake range.
Ooh, sitting at 26%.
It has been unable to set up the snow for this rapid spinning, I just forgot his name, Avalugg. And so Avalugg has been a bit weakened by the fact that it's not getting that ice defense boost in the snow.
Yeah, Avalugg very likely to go for recover.
We are back to the grudge match. Shako in chat, timers were meant to be implemented during the tournament, but there was a bug with them, and so they have not been.
It was a slight issue where if one timer ended up running out for one match, it completely destroyed all the timers for the future matches. And we weren't really able to get a fix in for that quite yet, or for the tournament. So right now it's no turn timers, but even then, I would say that the matches have been all moving at a pretty reasonable pace.
Yeah, I do think for the most part it has been pretty reasonable. Can we normalize using only hyper offense? Oh, it would be nice. It would be nice. Coverage of these events is its own challenge. Timers only. How else can we have a 72 turn game with only 2 feints? You never know. Well, hopefully these players can start seeing a way through this. Of course, it does seem as if Garganical is chipping away at Baloo's team, slowly but surely. But something here has to give. We're on turn 36, and no KOs have been taken on either side of the field, I believe, still. But I do believe that if that Cinderace can get back in position, it will do some heavy damage. There's a... I'm gonna link this Nove, because I think it might be something to warn people about in the future. We do see the Cinderace come in on the recover here. This Avalugg is not defended by Snow. It is being Salt Cured. And once again, I don't know if there's anything except for maybe Avalugg and Dragapult that can take this hit. I'm not even sure if Avalugg lives it, though. I believe it really is only a defensive Pokemon. Dragapult comes onto the field, and Pyro Ball into it to 21%. If... Oh, well, it is now in Shadow Sneak range. I'll say that much. Samurott makes his first appearance onto the field as a bite goes out. That's fair, Nova.
Bite Dragapult. Interesting to see. I think that's the first time we've ever seen a Dragapult run bite in this tournament. It's physical moves that, you know, the only moves that you really do often see are like what? Double Edge, U-Turn, Phantom Force, and Dragon Darts. You don't really ever see anything else. Let's see. Bite with the 30% flinch chance. If you're running Bite, I feel like at that point you just run something else like Dragon Breath or something. Maybe a special move that's going to do a little bit more. But Bite, I can't ever really see it doing too much over the course of a match.
I do wonder what the thought was there. Maybe just predicting Aegislash. And I do respect that from Baloo, because right now, Planeta Cobblemon does need a prediction. It feels like they are getting slowly chipped away in this battle, and if something doesn't give very soon, I do think they're going to start losing pieces very quickly. And this does seem like a very impactful moment. We have not seen these two Pokemon face off yet in this match. We haven't seen any Ceaseless Edges. There really aren't any hazards up in play yet, despite both these teams having some ability to handle them. And now... Oh, Gothitelle in 1.7. Let's go. We do see a swap over to Avalugg and another swap to Garganical. Okay.
Yeah, this Garganical just really proving its worth throughout like the match. You know, something that Baloo just struggles so much to deal with. He hasn't gotten any damage off of it. Not even a Meowscarada Flower Trick has gone into it yet in this match.
It has recovered 3 or 4 times, but it just has not been enough. And here we see this Glowking starting to try and regen again, but still unable to.
I think we might genuinely. I think we genuinely might see the Gargs run out of Salt Cures over the course of this match.
It does seem like Baloo. Baloo does need to keep up whatever options he has opened right now, because if they lose, then his team is going home. So if this is the best play he's got, then he's got to run it. We do have people in chat saying Paris Trap viable in VGC. Yes, in Cobblemon VGC, Paris Trap, we have to see that in the next tournament. I pray. We see a recover and another earthquake here. Avalugg standing strong, but almost needing to invite more salt cures. I don't know. I wonder if they've been keeping track of how many, because that would be important. I mean, if it starts going to be, you know, earthquake every turn or whatever, that would be obviously the indication. But we do see Salt Cure into Meowscarada. It is at 32% health here.
Yeah, that feels kind of risky, letting your Meowscarada get chipped like that. If your Meowscarada goes down, this Garganacl was gonna just run wild. I wonder. I was not a big fan of that play right there. I feel like your Meowscarada, it's having it switch in hard on Garg without maybe trying to get like a slow king chili reception into it. If it would have been possible. Ooh, nice U-turn. Nice U-turn.
This Aegislash has been extremely defensively valuable here. And now, in the past, we've seen Volcarona come in to face this Aegislash on hard swaps. And now, do we see Aegislash swap out again?
We're about to see Garganacl come right back in.
That does seem likely. But, you know, as Pokemon start to get chipped down, and as these two have been predicting, both times this has happened before, both Pokemon have swapped out. So let's see whether that is the case again. No, Novo. I will be streaming only VGC if that happens. We do see a swap from Volcarona, but the Aegislash is also going to leave, and there you go. We see it again as Glowking makes maybe its first entrance for Tropimon during this game.
I think all it's done so far is set up chili receptions in the back.
Sight or something, yeah. Maybe it didn't even do Future Sight. It just sat there once. Yep. All right. It does swap back out from Meowscarada. The knockoff goes into the Samurott, knocking off an Assault Vest.
Ooh. Refer back to the title, Bert.
Yes. Yep. I picked up on that as well. That's funny.
I wonder if maybe you just set up a Ceaseless Edge right here.
Well,
surely you don't switch right back. We haven't seen the Galvantula come out at all, right?
You don't think? Well, Meowscarada. Oh, but it's locked. I see. Yes. Right.
A very likely lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Meow goes down, Garg is going to have the best time of its life.
We do see a swap. Galvantula comes in to take the Ceaseless Edge, and it does live 22%. As stones are now set up.
Spikes.
Spikes. Galvantula should have speed here, but what do we see come in? Perhaps. Oh, okay. We see Sticky Web come out.
It sets up the web.
So there are hazards on both sides right now, and the speed will be lowered for Tornado. And as another Glowking comes in, Future Sight is set up by Tropimon. Eaten by...
Baloo's Glowking.
Oh, both are now under the pressure of Future Sight, as a chilly reception does go off on Tornado's side of the field.
I imagine you just bring in Meowscarada and knock.
We're going to see what these players have up each other's sleeves. The Sticky Web is in play here. Until we see that Cinderace, it will be in play. And so the Meowscarada is on the field, but it is slowed down.
Ooh, so this is very likely a Scarf Meowscarada. We now know that it's definitely not running heavy-duty boots. Knockoff does come out, should pick up the Galvantula KO. Galvantula did reveal the Focus Sash. It's still got off its webs. We'll see just how impactful those are over the course of the match.
And the future
Maybe you
sight
go
does
right
go
back
into
into
nothing, which is nice here. As
Oh yeah, if you're
Meowscarada.
Baloo, you have a very free U-turn. Maybe U-turn into a Volcarona or something. We'll see.
Yes, first blood at turn 52, as everyone has noticed, as Galvantula, the suicide lead, finally goes down 50 turns later.
We love to see it.
We are at best ambivalent to see it. But this Meowscarada on blue side of the field does have a speed advantage here. Threatening a big U-turn, but of course Aegislash has been so impactful in soaking them up so far. You know, this is a bit of a mind game here, I do think, as a knockoff from this Meowscarada could potentially KO that Aegislash if it were to switch in. And we do see a swap. We do see the Aegislash. What do we get? We go for the knockoff. Big knockoff.
Ooh,
takes
another
out
KO.
Aegislash. And both players are now bleeding. The future sight goes into nothing once again, which is its own sort of boon for Tropimon, I suppose. I'm starting to understand singles, at least the offensive side. I don't get the defensive side, I gotta be honest.
No worries, no worries. So all the matches here for. That was a really nice play by Baloo.
Yes, indeed. And now Tornado has to choose what to put in against this Meowscarada, and keep in mind, whatever goes in will be slowed down, and this Meowscarada has at best one more switch in, I believe, because it did take damage on switch in. Unless that Avalugg can get rid of these spikes, the Meowscarada is in danger. Tornado taking their time, attempting to lock in this win for Tropimon. And we do see Meowscarada come back on, still slowed, but certainly able to take a U-turn. I assume. Oh, the knockoff locked again, right? Here we see Avalugg come in, as knockoff does go into the Avalugg. I'm not sure if it already lost its item.
Ooh.
It didn't. Heavy duty
Now
boots.
it's lost its heavy duty boots.
Yes. Now it is snowing because Tornado used their chilly reception, so this Avalugg is boosted by the opposing weather. I don't believe both of them chilly receptioned out last time. I'm sure that's true.
I believe it was a little bit stuttered, where one person set up a future sight while the other chilly reception, and then the next turn I think we saw something like that happen as well. Now, Avalugg losing its boots, that's going to be very impactful if Garganacl comes in later and sets up Stealth Rock, because then that Avalugg is going to take 25% every single turn. And, you know, it's going to be forced to start spinning, but does Torn even have any spin blockers remaining? He doesn't.
I wonder if this was a predicted swap. Dragapult is at 8% health now.
Ooh, that was a phenomenal double for Baloo.
And Baloo now having a bit of a threat here. Dragon Darts does come out into the opposing Garganacl to 34%. And another Dragon Darts. Will it be enough? It will be enough. Marseille, the Garganacl, has gone down. And the defensive core on Tropimon's side of the field has started to fall apart. Because, of course, that Aegislash being gone also means that there is no rapid spin defense. And now we see a Hisuian Samurott come in, hoping to eat up another Dragon Darts? I don't know. But apparently enough. So Avalugg comes in. It is going to take spike damage. Sucker Punch comes out. That was why. Duh. And now Avalugg, without the snow, is facing down this Hisuian Samurott and threatening a rapid spin, if nothing else.
Things are starting to look a whole lot better for Baloo now. being able to take out the Garg is huge. We knew just how much of a problem it was throughout the entirety of this match, and knowing that it finally went down might open up a whole lot more for Baloo. He doesn't have to worry about Stealth Rocks ever coming up on his side as well.
Indeed. We do see a recover and a defense drop from the Razor Shell from Samurott. So this Avalugg isn't in a great position, but it is still threatening that Rapid Spin and wants to get it off at some point because there are two Pokemon that are very low. In fact, Dragapult is not coming back onto the field unless these spikes can be removed.
I wonder if you even go for the Rapid Spin, because if you take another defense drop, then I think a Ceaseless Edge makes it extremely free the next turn, almost guaranteeing a KO gets picked up. We do see Ceaseless Edge. We see the Rapid Spin come out.
And this is not... this might be a roll, but I believe that was 16% damage to this Samurott, and it could just barely eat another Rapid Spin depending on damage rolls. So this is actually a very tight situation where a crit could change the game. A defense drop could maybe change the game if this Samurott can set up spikes while Avalugg goes down, or if this Avalugg can take down Samurott with no spikes on the field. Both would be massively impactful. And I don't know the speed tiers well enough either, but I believe even with the speed boost, this Samurott will still outspeed. Now I have to look
it should definitely still be outspeed. No, it will definitely be outspeeding still.
I know Avalugg's slow, I just don't know how slow.
Yeah, even with 2 speed boosts, I'm pretty sure Avalugg still...
His base is 28. Yeah, he ain't going anywhere. Yeah, got it, okay.
Yeah, no,
there are webs. There are webs. That was somebody pointed that out. This was an assault vest, so this guy should have been hit by webs as well. Cinderace comes onto the field as Avalugg leaves the field for Volcarona. I don't know how well Volcarona handles a Pyro Ball.
It should be able to eat one. We did see that the Cinderace was not affected by the sticky web, so it is running heavy duty boots, so it should be able to survive one Pyro Ball. I just don't know. Surely you have to go for Pyro Ball here. Maybe Tornado wants to get the sticky webs off his side of the field and flip them around, but I just don't know if that's going to really be worth it in this match, because if he's running Libero and changes to a normal type, that means Volcarona could pick up a KO. We see the Quiver Dance go up. Oh my goodness, things are looking very, very dicey. Ooh. I'm guessing Slowking sets up or goes for Toxic here.
And Blue doesn't want to take the Toxic, so he swaps to his own Glow King.
Wow, things are looking amazing for Baloo right now.
And Baloo wins the Speed Tide here with a Future Sight as Chilly Reception goes off. Or Chilly Reception having negative priority, never mind. As it does start snowing, and every time it's snowing, it is helping out that Avalugg. I don't think that that's inconsequential, as Samurott comes back onto the field with 18% health. Right now, there are no hazards up on Baloo's side of the field, but we do expect maybe for Ceaseless Edge to set one up here.
Yeah. Wow, I'm really surprised. I think as soon as the Garganacl went down, everything for Baloo started looking so much better. That Dragapult Dragon Darts was huge, man. I also... Let's see here, let's see. Yeah, Chilly Reception isn't negative priority, but because Slowking just really often ends up being the slowest Pokemon on the field, it tends to go last either way. And a lot of times it's optimal to be running just 0 speed IVs, 0 speed EVs, sometimes even a minus speed nature on Slowking, just to guarantee that you always have the slowest Chilly Reception out in any Slowking Galar mirror matchup.
Chit Chat did also share that with me. This is something I didn't really know about Dragon Tail or Roar either until very recently. So I did assume that it was on that same one, but apparently not. And it just makes sense for this Pokemon. But these players are locked down right now, staring at each other, trying to figure out, Tornado, I'm sure, trying to reach back and trying to figure out how they can beat this this setup as they are slowly bleeding their pieces. And by the way, not for nothing, this Slowking, I believe it's the first time in quite some time for Baloo that it has been able to move onto the field and be healthy. The Ceaseless Edge does come out, taking it to 8%. I ate my words. And we see Chilly Reception come out. This Slowking clearly believing that it could take that hit. And just barely does. And now there is a decision to be made as Volcarona comes back onto the field.
I imagine Tornado goes right back into Slowking Galar to try to get off a Toxic. Then that kind of invites Baloo's Slowking Galar right back in. He's able to regenerate some of his health back. Oh man.
If I'm not mistaken, there is a future sight coming in from Tornado on this turn as well.
Oh yeah, it should be hitting at the very end.
But also important to note that while, of course, Tornado has been losing pieces, slightly at least, this is a moment that's very impactful because there are not many things Baloo can swap into at the moment. Both Meowscarada and Dragapult are threatened by the spikes now on the field. We see the Bug Buzz go out into the Glow King. Snow is falling. We are going to get the Future Sight coming into Volcarona. Oh, sorry, going into the other side of the field. I apologize. As Future Sight hits into Glow King, taking it to 50%.
Yeah, I think we've only seen what Future Sight, Chilly Reception, and Toxic. I wonder if he has Slack Off as well. If he has Slack Off, he should be able to comfortably beat the Volcarona. He goes for another Toxic, but if it goes into Baloo's Slowking, Baloo is going to be able to have his Slowking regain some more health over the course of the match. Baloo has done really, really well with his Slowking. He's been playing it really well, especially when he was like stalling out the Garg, Salt Cures, and Earthquakes with the Avalugg. He's been doing a phenomenal job of making sure his Slowking is always alive and, you know, always just a nuisance to the opponent.
The resource management has been great on Baloo's side of the field as 3 of his Pokemon, I believe, are pretty low health, but he's been managing to keep it going. And now this Chilly Reception forces Cinderace back onto the field facing down Volcarona. This is a toxic Cinderace.
Yeah, this Cinderace is on a timer. Anything from a Pyro Ball miss to just, oh man, to wasting turns is just
Pyro Ball
not
does
gonna
go
look
out.
good. We do see
Not quite 50%.
barely does damage. Oh, it might be game over.
The Quiver Dance comes out. And this Cinderace is down to 35% health. Volcarona did set up a Quiver Dance, whether or not... Oh, man.
Volcarona surely outspeeds here, too.
Well, we are going to see maybe a thrilling conclusion here. Obviously, this is a big moment. And there is a percentage chance that this Volcarona could go for a second Quiver Dance, which if it needed to, I suppose it could.
Yeah, I can't really see Tornado being able to stop this Volcarona now. He of course has this is a bulky Volcarona too. I'm going to quickly.
It doesn't live the Pyro Ball. It was a damage roll, a massive KO. And now
that's a crazy damage roll.
That is wild. So this Cinderace will only live one more turn if it does stay on the field, but it actually did take down this Volcarona. And now it is 3-3.
Wait, is it Blaze? Is it Blaze?
Oh, maybe it was a Blaze Cinderace and it got powered up right there. We didn't see... I don't think we saw Libero.
Yeah, so this Volcarona noticeably didn't move faster than the Cinderace either, so it was very, very bulky. Not having as much speed investment. That's crazy.
Well, if this is a Blaze Cinderace, then this Pyro Ball, I think, will KO Gloking. Because we have seen it hit this Gloking for quite a bit in the past. And if that does happen, then this game has completely flipped on its head.
Wow, what a play. Jeez, man.
Yes.
I'm really not expecting to see that.
That was wild. Getting the music going again.
Yeah, do you just I guess maybe you just let your Cinderace go down, but either way, you're probably gonna dish out another hefty Pyro Ball. I wonder if you maybe you can save it to come in one more time later on and hit something that isn't Slowking Galar, because I think Slowking Galar could live this and Chilly Reception out to, you know, shrug off the damage and insert Cinderace goes out. Maybe if you're Tornado, you just end up switching into your Samurott, if that's still... I would imagine that's something that you do.
I think in this situation, we saw a hit from the Pyro Ball Cinderace from about 97% on this Slowking down to 8%. I'm pretty confident that was the exact roll. And I think this is an assured KO, actually. Unless I'm remembering incorrectly. And it is a KO with a critical hit for sure. As Poison does take out Cinderace.
God.
And I think it's 2-2.
Oh my
or no,
God.
There's still... So there's 3 Pokemon left on Blue's side of the field, I believe, still. Which sounds wrong, but I think Meowscarada, Avalugg, and Dragapult are still alive. And this Avalugg needs to be able to clear the spikes because there are spikes here. And yes, there it is. Okay, so we see the Avalugg come in. It is taking spikes damage, but it needs to rapid spin. It does. Beautifully done by Baloo, keeping himself in the game.
Oh, Toxic comes out maybe? Yeah, with the Avalugg on a timer now because it's Toxic. Oh my God, those Cinderace.
Ooh, big crunch.
Cinderace went crazy.
A big crunch, a massive crunch actually. This Gloking is going down on the other side of the field if it does not manage to get off the field here, or it doesn't hard swap. And I don't know who's in the back that can take this crunch actually. I don't know what the health is as well on the other side of the field, but we see him leave the field. Meowscarada comes on as Slack Off is used. That could have been a KO, but predicted the switch. Knockoff comes out and removes Gloking for Tornado. And
does Hammer? I wonder if it's... Oh,
the sticky web is still in play. Court change never went off, and this Meowscarada for Baloo does have speed advantage, but of course it is locked into Knockoff.
If that Avalugg ends up going down, then Hisuian Samurott just cleans up with Sucker Punch because it's very likely that I think it's a banded Dragapult and a scarfed Meowscarada. Yeah, so Avalugg right now is the only thing stopping you from getting Sucker Punch swept by the Hisuian Samurott. But like, what do you do here? You know, Tornado. The only move he has to make here is U-turn.
Yes, very tough position for both these players. This is the ultimate chest match now. If he can get Avalugg in and get it recovered, then he's in a good spot, Baloo that is. And if Tornado can take a KO here, or somehow put Hisuian Samurott in a good position, but I believe Tornado is down to the last 2 Pokemon of just those 2. Yes, that is correct. And I agree, I do think sacking the Dragapult is the only thing that makes sense here because he needs to reset the Scarf on Meowscarada in order to have a chance here.
Oh man, things are just so tricky for Baloo. And yeah, that critical hit, that critical hit on Slowking Galar. If Slowking Galar did have any sort of defense investment, that critical hit definitely mattered.
Meowscarada instead opting to knock off The
Oh, it was
the
banded
opposing
the whole
Meowscarada.
time.
We did see the rapid spin, so Dragapult can come in here, and that is the play. And now, I guess you have to sacrifice and hope that... I think you have to sacrifice this Meowscarada and hope that your Hisuian Samurott can Sucker Punch through these remaining Pokemon. I'm not sure what else there is to do. I do like that play. Slowing down the Meowscarada to give Dragapult a chance also works here, as long as the Avalugg can take the Sucker Punch. I think we're in business. Oh, this is trouble, though. Sucker Punch comes out. Dragapult goes down. It is down to their last Pokemon, each of them. Avalugg comes in. Poisoned.
It's so low.
So very low.
Ceaseless Edge. I'm pretty sure both Ceaseless and Razor Shell can miss.
Oh
so
my.
this could go down to a miss right here as well.
I think that if it connects, then this is a win for Tornado because of the poison. Oh, a 1% roll. Oh my god.
My god.
1%.
Insane.
Incredible game. And look at that.
We will
Baloo
see
has
a
forced
game
the game 4 for Planeta Cobblemon. Incredibly played. An amazing match. That was one of the best matches I've seen, if not the best match I've seen. Both players played their heart out.
Wow.
Well done.
That was incredible, man. That was incredible.
And the series is pushed to 1 and 2, which I actually... Oh my god. Apparently I'm missing that number. I have 2-1. I'm going to switch the sides on here just because it'll allow me to do this. But... there we are. We're at 2-1. I don't even have a 3 number. I just realized I never adjusted those numbers for this. But that's okay. Wow. An incredible win from Baloo the Lazy, or Baloo the Perseverant. We'll use that word.
The Perseverant. Oh my god. I can't. I'm looking at the calc right now, and I wonder if it was like what kind of a roll it was. Did we get the HP, like the exact HP number revealed yet? No, nobody mentioned the exact.
Did we have a pick on the next format from Tropimon yet? Tropimon will now be picking whether or not we're going to doubles or singles.
Yeah, we're waiting on it right now.
All right. Well, gang, stay tuned. We are not done here. We're going to take a quick minute break just to give our announcers, at least one of them, a moment. And we will be right back with the next match action very soon.
Oh, Tropimon has chosen singles.
And we will be back for singles. Okay, we are back and we are getting the team sheets delivered very shortly to all of us. Looks like I've got them and I will share them with you all once this battle is underway. It looks like the battlers have been chosen. Am I good to share these, Novo?
We are still waiting for both teams to go into team preview.
Oh, okay. Now I wonder if, like, just based on the amount of battlers people would have, if this would force a
Yeah, Alam, you're
VGC final
free.
here. What was that?
Oh no, I was just telling Alam he could go ahead and queue people up. Oh, okay. Both both the Tropimon and Planeta Cobblemon Game 4 battlers have been chosen. We will be seeing Leno represent Planeta Cobblemon face off against Pichad representing Tropimon. I think that this is Pichad's second appearance in the tournament. I do also recognize Leno a good amount. And looking at the teams, one of the first things I saw was Leno has a pretty cool Pokemon in Klefki, which isn't really seen in this tournament. So I'm excited to see what it can do.
And the team sheets are now in chat for you all. We just saw an incredible match played out, and now another singles battle will be had here. And in the drip war, well, Tropimon, I don't know, Tropimon's drip war is a little bit different than everybody else's, as they do have uniforms together, so they both get points for that and lose maximal points. Leno is looking, you know, like they've got some personality, understated points.
Yep, Leno carrying all of Brazil on his back right now for this tournament. We did see the other Brazilian team, Jornadas, get eliminated yesterday. If Brazil have any hopes of continuing, it's all up to Leno right now. I wonder if maybe there are Jornadas battlers that are watching this right now, cheering on Planeta to, you know, kind of keep them pushing in the World Cup. Something like a Goku Spirit Bomb currently being sent that way, hoping that Brazil continues representing everybody in the tournament.
Here's this. No, Planeta Cobblemon. So yeah, we do see a Klefki, Goldango, Toxapex, Hisuian Samurott, Volcarona, and Glamora on Leno's side of the field, and on the other side, represented by Pichad, for Tropimon, there is a Glamora, a Dragonite, a Meowscarada, Primarina, Hisuian Samurott, and Goldango. A much more meta core, I would say, out of Pichad. The Klefki gets to take the field early a little bit. And these players are ready as Goldango faces off against the lead of Glamora.
Nice lead by Leno, immediately threatening the Glamora.
It feels like this is one of the first games where there has been significant, I feel like, back and forth in chat about, you know, supporting different teams. So, of course, Hisako being the manager of Tropimon and present in chat. And we are off to a start as Stealth Rocks goes out from... Oh, 1%. It is a Focus Sash rocking Glamora as the Make It Rain takes it down to that Focus Sash.
Yeah, but we know for certain that this... We know for certain this Goldango isn't running Choice Scarf. We see another Make It Rain come out. So that's still some pretty good damage going into Samurott. Hold up, we could probably start calcing right now. Let's see. Goldango, Samurott, Hisui. I'm shocked that it took, what was that? 33% from a -1 Make It Rain. Could be a high roll on a regular Goldango, but that's some big damage to dish out. But I guess that this Samurott is now very free to go for its own.
Indeed.
Go for its own Ceaseless Edge.
Now, on this side of the field, there is a Toxapex. I don't know much about Klefki, actually. I'm not sure about its speed tier or anything. But is that a prankster Pokemon?
Which one?
Klefki. Oh, it can be prankster, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Looking at the set, what could it possibly...
Steel Fairy type, so it's not going to want to swap in here. And it could be running Flash Cannon, Play Rough. We see Toxapex come on as Ceaseless Edge goes into the Toxapex, bringing it to 61%. And there are now spikes covering Leno's side of the field. It does have Torment and Fairy Lock. Fairy Lock, of course, preventing swaps, I believe. I'm not entirely sure how it works.
I can't imagine Fairy Lock really doing anything.
But it would be, again, a prankster move. And we do see now Champagne the Goldango come onto the field as Toxapex recovers. A Magic Room is another interesting one, just in that it inhibits items, but I can't see that playing a real role here. Foul Play is a part of it. I don't know what that's designed for, because we haven't seen too much setting up. So I guess we'll see. As Samurott comes in and eats a Shadow Ball and taking significant stones damage as well on entry. It is at just under 50%.
Oh yeah, it took Stealth Rock and Spike damage. Sheesh. Down to 50% or 49%. If you're Goldango, you switch out right here. Something that I haven't seen in the entirety of this tournament is something like Pursuit. I think the only notable Pursuit users are Annihilate and Tyranitar in this meta. But I honestly expect to see more of it. Oh wait, Tyranitar doesn't even get Pursuit, it seems, in this format.
Yeah, I don't think there are very many.
Oh, Scizor is one of those Pokemon, I get it. I wonder if those would be good to use, you know, seeing that there's so many ghost types running around.
True.
Aegislash, Goldango, what else? Dragapult.
Well, these players
I think we have seen Pursuit Annihilate early on, but back to the game, because I'm just yapping about stuff that isn't relevant right now.
We see the swap into Primarina, putting spikes down onto Pishad's side of the field. Those are the first to go down on that side of the field. And
yeah, this Primarina does have some bulk investment, taking what, 26%. Not sure if it's HP or defense invested, but does threaten something like a big Moonblast right now.
Well, I mean, maybe that's a spot for Klefki to enter. I don't. This is gonna be an
I
interesting
feel like
battle.
the Hisuian Samurai switching out is just it feels almost inevitable right here. So I wonder if instead you just go for a water move like a hyper voice, like a hydro pump to try to hit whatever wants to come in instead.
True. Toxapex does
Surely
feel
you
like
don't
a
keep
better
Samurai.
answer, but I am very curious to see how these players play this one, because these teams don't seem quite as even as the last matchup we had. I do think there's a significant difference in them, and how they are handled I will be very impressed to see. We do see the Toxapex come back. That did seem like the likely play, and we do see a counter potentially as Goldango comes in. Predicted swap.
Nice double. Very nice double.
This Goldango not rocking an air balloon, as it does take spikes
Yeah,
damage.
Toxapex can't really touch Goldango either in this meta, I want to say. All it does is let Goldango, you know, get free hits off, get free nasty plots off. So very nice move.
So you make it rain, take it down 22%. Toxapex goes ahead for a liquidation and can start chipping into this Goldango depending on its moveset. Although in singles, I believe, generally recover seems to be the way.
See Samurai come right back in. Ooh, as the Goldango nasty plots, nice switch. The Samurai is losing HP due to entry hazards. It should also be able to outspeed this Goldango. Samurais usually do run max speed. So nice play going in there. It is getting really, really risky though, because your Samurai is not going to survive any hit from a Goldango if it comes in with hazards again. We do see the Ceaseless Edge come out. It misses!
Oh, no.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate.
This Planeta Cobblemon has been... I mean, there have been misses on both sides, but the ones that have stuck in my head so far have been on the Planeta Cobblemon. Of course, we saw those early play rough misses. But now Klefki comes in holding an air balloon, and a trick comes out as Klefki is given the choice scarf, and Meowscarada is now holding an air balloon. I can't imagine that's what you want on Klefki, but at the same time, I don't know how this is going to impact things. We are already confused by this Pokemon. And Klefki is a base 75 speed Pokemon, so its ability to outspeed this Meowscarada is minuscule. If it were maximally invested and this Meowscarada weren't invested, there would be a chance, but I don't think that'll be the case.
I'm really curious what Klefki is supposed to do in this meta.
Whatever it was supposed to do, it's going to be hard, I imagine, with a choice. Well, maybe this is even better. Who knows? I guess with Prankster, that can't be good. But I don't know why. Oh, no, never mind. It was right. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting turn of events. I can't imagine that trick is what you really wanted, but it's also not the worst thing. If you were prepared to give up your choice scarf already.
Yeah, I'm thinking about air balloon. Like, what ground types was it also preparing for? Like, is it preparing for Donphan? Is there another one that I'm missing in? Because even then, I don't think it has a good matchup against Donphan. So I am very confused as to what the idea is behind this. And I'm certain that having the choice scarf probably also cripples it in these matchups.
Well, I hope we get to see why. I do. We see a swap.
Maybe it's like, oh, it is Magic Room
is used, so the scarf is now completely nullified, and whatever item this Goldango is using is also nullified. It could be that this team is just designed to be so much benefited by this, but I can't imagine what that means.
Let's see. How does that actually end up affect? It looks like it's pretty detrimental for I don't know. Part of me feels like it's not good for Leno, because his Volcarona now, if it has heavy duty boots, is not going to be able to get in on the field right now.
Very true.
And I guess it would. I guess on the opposite side, I guess it prevents Peachad's Dragon Knight from ever switching in, because that's gonna its heavy duty boots isn't gonna work against the. We'll see. We'll see. I'm confused by what really that accomplishes.
Well, Samurott comes in and takes a crit Shadow Ball. I don't think it would have mattered. He was pretty low health already, and now it's Goldango versus Goldango, and you have to imagine that that Leno knows their spreads really well. If you're planning to take away items from people, then I have to imagine your EV spreads are exact for something. So maybe they think they can outspeed here. We see a Goldango swap back to the Samurott, down to 55 from Stones, down to 24 from the Shadow Ball. And this Samurott is also potentially in danger of going down. It did get a special defense drop, so it would not live another, no matter what. But whether or not it can one-shot this Goldango remains to be seen from 82%. Random person in chat. You know, I don't know any Magic Room strats, but they're saying Magic Room is fun if you can manage to buff a sweeper and then sweep with the choice item as it kicks back on. You know, Goldango is a Pokemon that could do that, but in this instance, this matchup would be pretty tough. So I think there's an element of having to remove the threats a little bit beforehand, and I'm not sure if that has happened yet. That said, this Hisuian Samurott might be the only Pokemon left on that team that it's really afraid of. Cecil's Edge goes into the Glamora, taking it to 34%, also activating Toxic Debris, importantly. And this Glamora also can remove the hazards from Leno's side of the field if it can manage to get it going with a Mortal Spin.
Aqua Jet is a potential move that Samurott could run to pick up a KO here as well.
I wonder if Sucker Punch is also enough. Probably not based on that damage. But we've seen some interesting rolls already today. What's happening in chat here? Well, it sounds like some Portuguese trash talk is being exchanged as far as I can tell. And then pizza is the world, perhaps. But these players
they're currently
are
talking about Brazilian K-pop idols and pizza right now. Sucker Punch fails.
As
Glamora sets up Stealth Rock. Nice play by Leno.
Very
nice
valuable.
Play.
Magic Room does wear off now. So swaps from Pokemon that were previously barred from swapping are now activated again. And I don't know what else these Pokemon would be rocking right now. We have seen Glamora with Focus Sash. I'm not as familiar with the items necessarily here. And we've seen, I feel like, a lot of different items for Hisuian Samurott. We see the Mortal Spin come out, taking the Samurott to 17% and
gets
poisoning.
Rid of hazards. Amazing for Leno.
Very big.
Ooh.
As Razor Shell comes out this time and does remove
Leno
the
just
Glamora.
got 2 layers of Toxic Spikes and Stealth Rock on the opposite side of the field. Very nicely done.
Incredible usage of that Glamora, baiting the Sucker Punch early. And now Volcarona is able to get on with its boots being workable. Bug Buzz goes into the Samurott and removes it. I think we're now even Pokemon, and Planeta may be taking us to Game 5. It seems as if they are in a fairly good position now. This 1% Glamora faints to spikes and is not able to get rid of any of the hazards on that side of the field. And there is nothing left to protect that team. You know what's something interesting?
Yeah.
If the
I'm not sure why Pichad.
Oh, go on.
Oh, go for it.
Well, the Meowscarada, if it is still holding the air balloon, I don't remember if it got hit or not, but that actually could be a very nice thing for it down the line here, maybe. But this Primarina takes massive damage coming in.
Yeah, so much damage. These hazards are killing Pichada right now. Leno looks incredible right now in this match.
We see Toxapex come back in, eating a Sparkling Aria like it's nothing.
Yeah, and notably, with the Glamora going down on Pichad's side, that means that Pichad is going to have to deal with the hazards the entire time.
Yeah, and if we see a Magic Room set up, forcing some of these Pokemon like Dragonite onto the field, it will be bad. It will be rough. Planeta Cobblemon going off in chat, very excited seemingly. And this is going well for them to try to push this next game, push it to a 5-game set. Oh, somebody in chat saying they went with the Glamora trying to remove the T-Spikes, which does make sense, I suppose. But maybe it's just an order thing. As Liquidation goes into this Goldango, as it comes into the field, we've already seen it's not necessarily threatening, but Volcarona swaps in as Recover goes out on this Goldango, and I don't think it's going to be able to get another Recover off. We'll see what they go for here.
Yeah, Primarina's gonna take a round of hazards. I think Volcarona is extremely, extremely free to just go for fiery dances from here on out. It doesn't even need to set up quiver dances. The entry hazard is just gonna whittle away at Pichad. We see, what do we see?
Whirlwind. As Primarina is dragged out, as you said, the Toxic Spikes were soaked up by that Glamora, and that is saving Primarina to some degree. But wow, yeah, that was an incredible play. I love the Whirlwind play here. Especially because Toxapex is not threatened seemingly by this Primarina at all. So this sort of bait and switch move can continue.
Wow. Yeah, this Primarina is not going to survive the next round of entry hazards, I believe. I do think all 3 spikes are up on the other side. Oh,
that
huge
was a big
Hydro Pump. This is Torrent. This is Torrent Primarina.
Oh, you're right. Wow. Okay, we are seeing some very interesting things. This Primarina has activated its low health offensive ability as Klefki comes onto the field. Hydro Pump goes out, does connect, and takes Klefki out, but importantly allows this Regenerator Toxapex to get some health back as Goldango comes onto the field now. And the music stopped at some point. The Whirlwind's back. The Shadow Ball comes out and removes Primarina.
Wow.
Another Pokemon must come onto the field here. Dragonite being one of the few that doesn't take damage here, although Meowscarada may be protected still with the air balloon. Still not sure. And these
Leno
players...
in an incredible spot. Honestly, looking at it from this match, I think Leno is going to be able to clean up from here. I think that we're actually going to see Game 5. We know that the Volcarona is sitting in the back. If that just gets off one Quiver Dance, I don't think Pichad has anything to stop it. We do see the knockoff go out into the Goldango.
The Colbur Berry.
Goldango to live. Oh my god.
Incredible. The tech on this team from Leno is very impressive. You got to wonder if this is something like where they have spent time countering this team from Pichad, if Pichad is using a team they've used before. And this is an incredible turn of events. Colbur Berry saving Goldango. You love to see this stuff. As Vodka the Dragonite steps onto the field with its multi-scale intact. Now, in this situation, what kind of Dragonite do you expect to see here?
Dragon Dance. Probably Dragon Dance, Outrage, Fire Punch. When there's a Dragonite, though, there is always a chance. I just don't think that it's going to be able to muscle through a Toxapex. We see Make It Rain come out.
We do see a Dragon Dance go up. Multiscale has been broken. And this Golden Go should get outsped now. Toxapex, Volcarona, and Golden Go still alive for Leno. I believe that's it. And on the other side of the field, Dragonite. And I'm not sure who else.
I wonder if you go for a second Dragon Dance here. I feel like maybe that's your only play at this point. You need to take out the Volcarona so that you're not repeatedly having Flame Body problems.
Very fair. We see Goldango be pulled back as Toxapex comes onto the field as another Dragon Dance does go up.
An Outrage has to kill the Toxapex if you want to have a chance, I think. If Toxapex gets off a Toxapex... Baneful Bunker, do Dragon Dance again?
Outrage does go out. Unfortunate. The poison does go into this Dragonite. And that is something certainly to be looking forward to from Leno's side of the field. But now I wonder if this is just whether or not he can get double protect or even triple protect. I see no reason to not go for it, I think. Because you're not going to outspeed this thing. And the poison damage may be the most significant thing you can do.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure that Leno, oh man, he has played this so well. I think he's going to be able to wrap it up from here. I can't see the Dragonite powering through the rest of the team. It's looking very likely that we see... Oh, Baneful Bunker fails. We see another Outrage. Does that KO? Wow, so if Peachad would have done something like gone for a Dragon Dance again, he might be able to pull something off, but okay. I don't know. This Outrage can pick up the Goldango. Wait.
Volcarona
Wait a minute.
I don't think this is the last Pokemon either. I could be wrong, but Volcarona goes down as well, and that might be it. That's it.
Oh my god, Peachad
the Dragonite
wins.
The double Dragon Dance Dragonite pushes through the last three Pokemon, and Planeta Cobblemon's run is over. Tropimon will be going to the round of 4, the semifinals, and this quarterfinals match is over. Tropimon wins. Wow. An incredible turnaround there with a Pokemon that just had been sitting in the back waiting for its opportunity and clearly got it.
He did have 2 Pokemon remaining in the back, but I believe the second one was pretty low on health. Oh man. I feel like if you're Leno, you should have maybe done something like swap out your Goldango to take that Outrage hit. That way you can at least get another Baneful Bunker off. But even then, it's rough, man. It's rough. Maybe you yeah. That was really nicely done.
And Tropimon are on the field celebrating as a team. An incredible showing from them. And an incredible showing from Planeta Cobblemon. Congratulations to Tropimon, but excellent job to their opponents.
Wow. There goes the last Brazilian team of the tournament. Oh, man. Let's see. First best of 5 lasting 2 hours and 45 minutes. But hey, it was exciting all around the entire time. So that's, it wasn't like we were forcing ourselves to become boring matches. These were all exciting nail biters to the very end.
Indeed. They were great matches. And we saw some impressive tech as well. I admit, one of the things I was a little surprised about was that the Volcarona didn't stay in and almost just keep on whirlwinding. It seemed like a moment there where that might just keep happening. I don't remember if that was when it had Quiver Dance, though. Perhaps not.
Yeah, I think it was because it was facing off against a Primarina, so it didn't want to get hit by its massive Hydro Pump.
Yeah, that was incredible. 2 Hydro Pump connections, which is actually better luck than we've seen from most players, I feel like, recently. And some incredible play. All right.
Yep, and that wraps up all of the matches for today, folks.
Indeed. An incredible showing once again. Thank you to our competitors.
Oh, man. Let's see. It looks like everybody is leaving the stadium now. Wow. It looks like all of Planeta Cobblemon seemingly is cheering on Tropimon to bring home the win for the rest.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, the sportsmanship that we have seen has been incredible, and once again, that is occurring. Those were incredible matches. Thank you, everybody, for their for their efforts. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another exciting portion of the Cobblemon World Cup 2025 inaugural tournament. And we'll see you all again tomorrow.
Yep, tomorrow, 3 p.m. EST, EV Empire, first ranked seed facing off against Roanoke. And yeah, after this, it's going to be a best of 3, and we are down to the last 5 matches of the entirety of the World Cup. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. Take care, you guys. Take care.
Yep. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.